This is the Arena League from the Bluff City on the banks of the mighty Mississippi. Memphis, Tennessee, the Monroe Greenheads face the Memphis Hound Dogs for the Memphis Sports and Event Center on Liberty Park. A very good evening and welcome in tonight. I'm Jeff Private alongside my broadcast partner Matt Infield, and here we are, Matt, the halfway point. Week number 4 of the arena season. Memphis can grab a 2-game lead before the weekend is over, but Monroe would like to get back in the race.
A couple teams that started out the season on very different notes. Monroe with a dominant Week 1 victory. You thought this could be one of the cream of the crop teams in the league. Memphis didn't look all that good in Week 1. Since then, they've rattled off 2 straight wins. Monroe has lost their last 2, so Memphis can really put themselves in a great position for the playoffs with a win tonight. Monroe, you got to think, even though it's only Week 4 in an 8-week season, it could be now or never for them.
Yeah, can't fall too far behind in an 8-game season. So let's take a look at Monroe, Matt, and it's going to be a battle of really good quarterbacks here tonight.
Absolutely. I think points will be put on the board tonight, which is what you come to the Arena League for, but a couple of quarterbacks playing really good football right now. Timmy McLean for Monroe, the southpaw slinger, 14 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions on the season. This is a guy that's played a lot of college football, started out his career at USF, went to UCF, a couple other stops. He's playing really good ball for the Greenheads this year.
And Memphis can sling it as well.
Sky Forrest right now, 8 passing touchdowns over his last 2 games. Local product out of Lausanne High School. Offensive coordinator Dustin Bowman said it is his time to shine. We'll see if he keeps his role going tonight.
Going to be a good one in Week 4 tonight. It's the Greenheads and the Hound Dogs from Memphis. We'll get it started next. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. That's fine, man.
All right. Gotcha. Cool. Hey, what's your drone shot coming in? I just made that up last time. I have no idea what you're showing. So. Oh, yeah, I didn't know what y'all had when we came on. I just heard you go live. Okay, that's cool. Okay, okay. Good deal. All right, no, that's fine. I was just like, I'll just make something. I didn't know what you were showing. Mississippi's like, what? It looks like some old arena that's falling apart over there. Yeah, it's Coliseum. Well, he told me it's the Mississippi River. Washington. You're watching the Arena League from the banks of the mighty Mississippi. It's the Bluff City of Memphis, Tennessee, where the Monroe Greenheads face the Memphis Hound Dogs. It is week 4 of the Arena League season. Memphis currently in first place in the South Division. Monroe needing to make up a little bit of ground here tonight at the Memphis Sports and Event Center at Liberty Park. Hello and welcome in. I'm Jeff Private alongside Matt Infield. Standings will start to come into play, but tonight, Matt, it is a battle of two of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Jeff, I think some points are going to be put on the board tonight. Let's start with Monroe. The Southpaw gunslinger, Timmy McLean, an experienced collegiate quarterback, played at 4 different stops. First season in the Arena League, and he is balling out right now. 14 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions the entire season. He was the offensive player of the week from week 1. If the Hound Dogs are going to win tonight, they have got to at least contain him because you're probably not going to stop him.
Meanwhile, for the Hound Dogs, they played a platoon system, but it's been Sky Force that's really emerged here on the last week or two.
8 touchdowns through the air for Sky Force over the last 2 weeks, 1 on the ground as well. Offense coordinator Dustin Bowman told us this week it's his shot right now. He's playing too well. They can't take him off the field. Big fellow as well, 6'5", 235. He could scoot, and the Hound Dogs are starting to show more of that as well.
Well, we'll see if the Hound Dogs can remain in first or if the Greenheads are going to make up some ground tonight here in Memphis. We'll throw things off between the Dogs and the Ducks when we come back to Memphis in just a moment. Well, it's the 2-1 Memphis Hound Dogs, the 1-2 Monroe Greenheads, the halfway point of the 8-game season in the Arena League. So teams jockeying for some position here midway through the year. Glad to have you with us. There is a look at that offensive coordinator, Dustin Bowman. He is excited about tonight's ball game. And look, he has got 2 dangerous tight ends, 2 of the best wide receivers in the league, and has done really well whether he's gone with Kevin Taylor or Sky Force this year at quarterback. He's got a lot of weapons.
That's something he told us earlier this week. Part of the reason Sky Force is playing so well is he doesn't have to do too much. Get the ball in the playmakers' hands. They're going to do the rest from there. When you're talking about Donald Gray, Keywan Malone out wide, and you talk about those 2 tight ends / offensive linemen, Cormonte Hamilton, the former Memphis Tiger, Michael Stackett, which is one of the coolest stories in the league this season, was last with a college program 20 years ago. 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks combined. He's still got plenty in the tank.
Look, he is a great guy for this team, a guy that played back in 05 at the University of Memphis. Says he wants to help some young guys out and have a chance to play a little bit of football before he is done. Here comes a throw off. It's Herard throwing, and that'll be a short one up down to the 17, breaking to the left side, and Memphis is going to have great field position to start things out as they come down to the left side. It looked like that may have been Adrian Fox, and it was down the left side for he was hit at the board. So a short throw off that time, Matt. Memphis doesn't have to worry about taking the penalty. They'll take the yards.
Yeah, absolutely, because you have to get the throw to at least the 10-yard line to not draw a penalty flag. That throw was well short of that, but the Hound Dogs will take the great field position right off the bat.
So for the Hound Dogs, it'll be Hamilton, Williams, and Stackins up front. Gray at 1 receiver, Malone at the 2nd. Forrest will be the quarterback, and we'll see if they go with Bell or Briggs to start things out. They'll platoon their running backs as well, and it looks like they are going to go with Tony Bell, the former All-American linebacker at Tennessee Martin.
And that's been a big emphasis for this offensive staff this week. They want to get the run game going a little bit more. They're averaging 74 yards per game on the ground, but a lot of that has been the quarterback run. They want to get Bell and Briggs cooking a little bit in the traditional run game.
So the short throw is going to be a dead ball penalty, so they will just spot it at the 25, 1st and 10. So it will be Force at quarterback. He'll have Bell off to his left. Has time. He's going to go deep on the first play. One-handed grab. And the Hound Dogs will draw first blood on the first play. There's a flag down about the 5-yard line. But right now it stands as a Hound Dog touchdown, and Memphis strikes going down the right side to Donald Gray.
I believe the flag is going to be on the defensive back, grabbing a whole bunch of Donald Gray's jersey. What a way to start this one out. The former Mississippi State standout Donald Gray, who has been arguably the best receiver in the entire league this year, with one of the best plays of the entire season right off the bat tonight.
So they're going to back it up. Memphis is going to go for the 2-point.
I think they're going to get replay to take a look at the touchdown to make sure Gray had possession, which
He's got the 1 foot, 2 feet.
And control the ball about as well as you can with the one hand. And then into the padding, which is a new addition this week, and the call is confirmed. It is a touchdown. Just signal it down. And just so everyone knows tonight, the padding, you do have to have 1 foot inbounds if you go over the padding in the end zone, which obviously Gray had 2. More than good.
So here is Memphis now at the 15. In the corner, they go to the big man, Cormonte Hamilton. He and Stackins have been such weapons, the dual tackle tight ends. Both good size, both good hands, as Hamilton will bring it in. And it'll be an 8-0 Hound Dog lead.
Beautiful. I mean, it doesn't get any better from Donald Gray. Added the 2-pointer, Jeff. Cormonte Hamilton listed at 6'3", 285 last check. Defensive back Jalen King, 5'9", 170. Advantage Hamilton.
So did some research after the first home game for the Hound Dogs. Obviously, most arena leagues, most arena teams will have the full wall. There are a handful of teams. It's not unique to Memphis. There are a handful of indoor teams that will have the open end zones, Memphis being one of those. They took a look at it the first week and said, we kind of like it. You can streak down the sideline, and it pays off big. It's a little bit of home field advantage for the Dogs.
And the padding nice and soft to land in after you score a touchdown, like Donald Gray did right off the bat. You want to talk about setting the tone, getting the home fans fired up. Sky Forest and Donald Gray doing that right away.
So Memphis gets set to throw it off. That'll be Fabian Guerra to receive for Monroe. Take it about the 8-yard line. Has a little bit of room to the 15, trying to follow his blockers. He'll reverse field. Now the Memphis speed will keep him just shy of the 25-yard line. Hard hit into the wall, just shy of the 25.
Guerra, another new addition for Monroe this week. He's a native of Miami. He's played a number of indoor leagues in the CFL for a little bit. And this is also, I don't know if we're going to call it a homecoming, but he did play for the Memphis Express of the now defunct AAF way back when in 2019.
So here is Timmy McClain. 18 of 30, 261 yards a week ago, 5 touchdowns and 1 pick. Also had 1 run. He's the left-hander. Over the middle, wide open, spin move and caught from behind, but they'll break free that time. Little bit of room to maneuver that time for Mark Britt. Britt had 6 catches, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns last week against Arkansas.
Yeah, this Monroe wide receiver trio is up there with the Hound Dogs for one of the best in the league, and Britt open on the first play. No one around him. Lucky that wasn't more if you're the Hound Dog defense.
Allen to the 11, slammed into the wall inside the 10-yard line, just shy. And so they are playing a little possession football, moving it up. And they went to Ware that time, the newcomer for the Greenheads. An 8-0 Hound Dog lead early here, just 90 seconds into the ball game. McClain overall, 56 of 102, 674 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks. That's going to be the matchup tonight. Can they get pressure and make him run? Handoff Guerin. They're using the newcomer a lot, and so get barreled up just shy of the 5-yard line.
3 touches for him in 4 plays already. Curious to see what happens down here, though. The Hound Dogs' red zone defense, the best in the league so far. They've allowed just 1 touchdown in 7 red zone trips.
Fox came up with the tackle that time. And again, they'll have to get pressure on McClain if they want to have success. Memphis, one of the best secondaries in the league, but a lot of that's due to the pressure they get up front with Beyonce Kimbrough. Scrambles to his left. He is just going to throw that out of bounds. Now, Memphis would like to, and it's easier said than done, get McClain to roll to his right, so he has to come back across the body with the left hand. But I'm sure Timmy McClain has had defenses try to do that to him ever since he was in junior high school.
Absolutely. He's, like I said, played at 4 different college stops, USF, UCF, about an hour away from here at Arkansas State. Last collegiate stop was at Bethune-Cookman last year in Daytona Beach. So plenty of football under his belt, and it is shown in a big way early in the season.
Monroe, the 4th-ranked offense by points. Memphis, the 3rd-ranked defense. Really intriguing matchup as he is going to keep it between the hashes. He'll get tripped up. He'll roll his way to about the 6-yard line before he's finally touched. And again, the Arena League rule, as Kimbrough got the tackle, credit for the tackle. Arena League rule is you have to run it between the hashes if you're the quarterback. But once you're past the line of the scrimmage, if you keep your balance, you can go side to side.
And we know from talking with the Memphis staff this week, McLean's elusiveness and his ability to create with the ball in his hands himself was a big concern for their defense.
Guerra is the vertical man. They're going to flush him out to the right, and they'll sack him back at the 20-yard line. So the Memphis defense comes up big. They got the initial rush up front by Kimbrough, and it's Friesen that ends up getting the sack, and Hassler there as well. So let's take a look. See, again, they're getting a lot of push up the middle. Friesen races in. Hassler's right behind him. A week ago against Ozarks, Memphis got a big push up front, but once they got the quarterback scrambling, just could not catch up.
Him, yep.
So they said they will go a little bit more Friesen tonight, a little bit more Hassler. They'll blitz off the right side. That one is launched to the back, tipped in. It'll be out of bounds out of the back of the end zone as they got McLean again moving to his left. Had to come all the way to the right side. And again, Guerra was over there. He's a newcomer, Matt. They are really isolating on him a lot. That's a weapon they think they can exploit. They've already got a lot of great weapons.
They talk about how big that sack was. As this throw had a chance, but a couple of Memphis DBs back there, but credit Fox with the PBU. I mean, that sack lost them almost 20 yards. It totally killed their chances of scoring on that possession.
It's the 3rd time in the last 3 quarters, because it was twice in the second half of the Ozarks, that Memphis has faced 1st and goal from an opponent and stopped them from scoring.
Best red zone defense in the league, like we just talked about, and they deliver once again.
So you've got Malone and Johnson off to the left. That's going to be Bell in motion. Crossing, and it's going to be Johnson if he hangs on, but looks like he could not hang on. Knocked away that time, trying to go across the middle to McCarrion Johnson out of Whitehaven High School in Mississippi Valley. Guy that can really stretch the field.
Scored 2 touchdowns in week 1. He got a hard press at the line of scrimmage that time. I think it threw the timing of that play off a little bit. Wonder if Johnson maybe has a counter to that in his release off the line of scrimmage if that happens again.
Quick toss to the left. Tripped up just across the 20 and may fly all the way to the 25-yard line. That time, little toss sweep to Tony Bell out of Tennessee Martin, who was a linebacker, and it was King who came up. Got a tabled on, just got enough of him. Jalen King over there out of Sterlington High School.
Jeff, what these offensive coordinators are having to figure out in this league, it's not like in college football where if the ball's on one hash, you've got a ton of space to the other side of the field. You're a lot more confined, so there's not really that advantage, and you got to get creative if you're going to run the ball.
Across the middle to Malone. It'll be across midfield by a couple of yards to the 23 of Monroe. Kewan Malone, a University of Memphis product, started out of Alabama. He was part of the 2014 Tiger Conference Championship team that beat BYU in the Miami Beach Bowl. Boy, he has come on the scene with 3 touchdowns so far this season.
Strong hands there, too, to set up this 4th and short.
They've got Forrest scrambling. He'll just throw it long. They did have Hamilton making a move deep to the 10-yard line, one cutting across at the 18, but they got Forrest moving a little bit. The 225-pounder out of Lausanne and Lane College, originally out of Memphis, Tennessee. So the Greenheads have a chance to tie things up here.
That's a pretty big stop for their defense as well, because with the way this Hound Dog offense is humming right now, you go up at least 14-0, maybe 16-0 early, and things can get spooky for you pretty quick.
So the Greenheads are going to have it at their own 23. In motion vertically is Smith. They'll go short. That's going to be underthrown, just shy of the 15-yard line. So they'll bring up 2nd and 10 again. They're looking for Guerra.
Quad Smith was the man in vertical motion that time. I think that he had an opening deep. I don't know if McClain didn't want to take that throw, maybe a safety over the top there, but he has been wildly productive for Monroe so far.
I mean, statistically, he is their best. They have not been able to get a target on him yet. He'll be defended by Jelani Williams. Got him moving. He's got to stay back there. Couldn't make it through the hash marks. Dumps it off just across the 25. So there'll be positive yardage and a nice scramble by Timmy McClain.
But again, what was that name you just said? Jelani Wills, right there on the tackle. Recognize that the only option McClain had, left-hander, roll it to his right. That was his only outlet, and Willis was all over that.
Going to be a 3rd and 8 here, just across midfield for Monroe, an 8-0 Hound Dog lead. Quad Smith will be in vertical motion to the right of McClain. McClain finds Guerra at the 15-14. He'll follow forward to about the 13 for the first down for Monroe.
If you notice, Monroe isn't lining up Guerra like a traditional running back at all. They'll bring him into the backfield sometimes, but he's essentially a scat back that's being used to leverage the defense. And his Monroe debut, he's made a big impact early.
They've got Britt to the left. They'll now put Smith, and Guerra will be the man in vertical motion. Over the middle to the big tight end. That's going to be Lloyd. Lloyd carrying a couple of Hound Dogs, and they'll stop him shy of the 5-yard line.
A couple former South Florida Bulls connecting right there. Timmy McClain, who was at USF at his freshman year in 2021. Fred Lloyd, who was there from 2018 to 2020, so their time in Tampa never intersected, but a little bit of a connection right there as Lloyd on the board for the first time tonight.
Lloyd, a couple of catches, 46 yards a week ago against Arkansas. Still have a chance to get a first down. They'll hand it off. That'll be right at the sticks. So they look to have 1st and goal right about the 4 if they give him the first down here. Guerra says he's got it. It looks like they're going to give it to him. So 1st and goal. 2nd straight possession that Monroe's had 1st and goal. Memphis able to keep him out of the end zone. Last possession, we'll see what they do here.
And Jeff, just a reminder for anyone at home who might be tuning into this league for the first time, inside the 5-yard line, the quarterback run is completely off the board.
Britton Guerra out to the left. They'll have Quad Smith to the right of McClain. Empty backfield. Coming from the left side, a lot of pressure, and the Greenheads are on the board. When across the middle, they'll find Quad Smith out of Orlando, Florida. The former Akron Zip will make it a 2-point game.
I think they wanted this rub route to Guerra, or at least they wanted to decoy like that in the flat. But great job by McClain to throw on the run. And Quad Smith, 2 touchdowns last week, 100 yards to go with it. And on the board for the first time tonight, looks like Monroe will go for 2 and try to tie the game from the 10-yard line.
So in this case, McClain is run eligible on the 2-point attempt.
Because it's from outside the 5-yard line, yep.
Backs it up, he'll scramble. Still have to come back in the hashes if that's what he opts to do. He's going to overthrow that one.
Keep that ball, young man. I'm serious. Again, if you're new to this league, a ball that becomes a souvenir is yours. Go home with it.
So Memphis holds on the extra point attempt, so it'll stay 8-6 Hound Dogs here.
Good hands. Get this kid a contract. Falling backwards, too, on the hardwood? That's impressive.
I don't know if it's going to be Donald Gray's catch or his catch right now is the catch of the night.
I think Gray still got the advantage, but that was still pretty impressive by the young man. Head on a swivel, too.
So Monroe gets ready to throw it off. So a score on the first play by Memphis as he went Skyforce to Gray. And then with 5:25 remaining here in the opening quarter, it's McClain to Smith. They fail on the extra point. Memphis will sit Briggs back there to receive. As Herard will throw it. He was short on his first. This one will get to the 10, but I think we may have offsides. We hear whistles just before the throw off. So somebody crossed the plane before the ball left the hands potentially here. Yeah, I think your center guy went off.
think that was Lloyd who got the early start.
It's going nice crowd in here already. Second home game for the Hound Dogs at the Memphis Sports and Event Center. Bulk of the seating on one side here. It's a multi-purpose facility. As you can tell, play a lot of basketball and volleyball in here, but the right side's arena, and they've done a nice job to fit it out. Here's the catch, in and out of the hands. Little bit of room, and now he breaks free down the right side. It's Briggs to the 20. Cuts back, he's still on his feet. Another move.
Wow.
He goes all the way. What a return.
There's a flag at about the 7-yard line and a player down. So hold on just a moment, but a sensational return by Briggs nonetheless. We'll see if it stands. The Memphis players are acting like it will.
If it stands, that'll be about a 46-yard return. He had a little trouble there right at the 5, in and out of his hands. Could be a block in the back right there.
Yeah, I think it was Lloyd that got rolled up on.
Adrian Fox came in behind, but what a great job regardless. DJ Briggs breaking tackles, keeping his feet. Cormonte Hamilton, a little last-second nudge there to clear out the last 5 yards.
Well, Jeff, we've been to practices, and we've seen Briggs, what it looks like when you get the ball in his hands. It's pretty electric, and obviously on full display right there. They want to get him going more and more. So I don't think this touchdown will stand, although we'll wait for the official word. But nonetheless, a glimpse of what Briggs can do when given the opportunity.
Now there's timeout and officials timeout on the field with the injured player for Monroe. There's a lot of traffic down there, and that is going to be Jalen King, who is down right now out of Sterlington High School, a 5'10", 170-pounder for Monroe. Just got caught up. A lot of traffic down there once the ball initially was in and out of the hands of Briggs, and a lot of people converging at the same spot down there. Looked like someone may have just fallen on him.
Yeah, so King actually took out Lloyd, but King was probably injured before that even happened.
And so play stop with 5:05 remaining here in the opening quarter, and an 8-6, maybe 14-6. It just depends. They have not given us an indication of what the penalty is, but from what you and I saw, looks like it may be a block in the back. Let's take a look, because Fox came up. There's the push in the back. I think that's where your penalty goes, and as you mentioned, it looked like King got tied up with Lloyd.
I think King maybe got his left ankle clipped right before he went tumbling into his teammate Lloyd. So, above all, hopefully he's okay. He's been down for a couple minutes now. You certainly hate to see that.
There in the black shirt on the right side of your screen, you see Terry Bowden, their coach. He was down in Monroe after retiring. They got him to come out, and he's done a nice job putting a indoor team together as they, again, continue to work on Jalen King with Coach Bowden looking on.
Coach Bowden, of course, has bounced back after taking a little tumble of his own in week 1, where coaches can be on the field in this league, and on a pick-6 return, he was taken out and stretchered off, and good to see Terry Bowden here in Memphis tonight coaching his team after taking that tumble.
You got to tip your cap to the Monroe organization. New team like Memphis, and they raised a lot of eyebrows when they made that announcement. Who's your coach going to be? All right, no touchdown. It is a block in the back. That's going to be the official call. That's what you and I thought it was after we watched the initial replay. But going back to Monroe, they raised some eyebrows around the league. Hey, we got a guy that went 13-0 at Auburn. He's got a long history in Division I. He's going to give it a shot at the indoor game.
Obviously comes from football royalty as well, the son of legendary Florida State head coach Bobby Bowden. Terry Bowden also led Auburn to an undefeated season in his first season at the helm in 1993. And yeah, kind of speaks to the Arena League catching some eyeballs and maybe attracting some people and some coaches that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And it's obviously a big-time ad for an expansive franchise.
Spent time at Samford in Birmingham, also North Alabama, Akron, and then Louisiana Monroe to wrap up his collegiate career. So Memphis going to have a long way to go here after the penalty. That ball will be spotted back at the 5-yard line. So Memphis, their priority here is just to get the shadow of their own end zone. Here is Forrest, a couple of moves. He'll get a little breathing room. He'll end up getting about 6 yards. So Forrest, who could play linebacker in this league with his size at 6'5", 225. He had 5 carries for 26 yards. Also threw for 181 a week ago.
Jeff, I think watching Memphis last week, that was the biggest schematic difference I noticed in their offense. They really got some design quarterback runs going. And you saw there, Forrest, nifty feet, and he is a big boy. He is a chore to tackle.
They'll go to Gray, who's in vertical motion. Cross midfield to the 20, and Gray is gone. His second touchdown of the game.
Not quite Derrick Henry stiff arm, but Donald Gray just told linebacker Joe Perron, get off me, for his second score of the night.
38-yarder. He came across the middle. Beats one guy, and then he's going to shake Herard, and Herard can never recover. So Memphis will go for 2 again. Herard had his hand on him, just couldn't get enough of that jersey. I'll put Gray in motion. Forrest has Malone in and out of his hands, tipped, and it could be 2 points the other way. That's Herard. He'll be untouched all the way.
Talk about immediate redemption. It's not a huge momentum swing, but it does give you a little more life if you're Monroe. Instead of going down 2 possessions, still a 6-point game.
Well, makes it 14-8 after Memphis could have gone up 16-6 and had a 2-possession lead. Got him scrambling and just got tipped. The initial contact was off of Trey Hollins when James Herard picked up the loose ball off the deflection. Malone touched it. Hollins tips it into the hands of Herard.
Yeah, and Forrest has shown he can make those plays, throw it across his body, maybe trying to do a little too much there, but also just kind of a series of unfortunate events if you're the Hound Dogs.
So they've got Guerra, their newcomer, will receive for the Greenheads. Going to take a look at the standings. Memphis, by point differential, 2-point holds first place ahead of Arkansas at 2-1 coming in tonight. Only game in the Arena League, 3 Saturday games. So whoever wins this game and whoever loses, maybe more importantly, we'll be doing some very big scoreboard watching tomorrow night. Here's Guerra across the 10. He'll be wrapped up as Jelani Williams will get him down about the 14-yard line, and that's where Monroe. And now, here's where that 2 points plays big for Monroe. A touchdown ties it up, extra point. They grab the lead.
Absolutely. Say Memphis, the only team in the South Division right now with a positive point differential coming in at exactly +1. Because you got those 2 right now behemoths in the North Division in St. Joe's 3-0 plus 117. Nebraska 3-0 plus 91.
It's going to be a fun game to watch tomorrow night because Nebraska and St. Joe's face off for the first time. Guerra goes vertically. McClain, outlet to the boards. And finally brought down just shy of the 25. Kept his momentum going forward, and that's the rule as stated, as Mark Britt kept going forward. It's not just contact with a wall. If you can keep moving forward, they'll continue to give you forward progress. At least that's how the rule's written.
First time that McClain tonight, from what I've seen, has thrown in the direction of Ladarius Lee, who has a nose for the football, to say the least. One of the interception leaders across the league after 2 in each of the first 2 games of the season.
5 picks on the season. Low snap picked up. McClain, great sideline pass, great awareness, and he'll be stopped short. Coming up on the hit was Jelani Willis. Again, really has nice awareness out there. McClain does, because that really could have turned ugly. Just kept his calm, found his man on the boards.
Yeah, Monroe's had some problems tonight. C.J. Buckhalter is the center. They've had some problems with the snap operation early, but McClain keeping his poise and making something out of nothing, or something that could have been really disastrous if you're the Greenheads.
And Guerra again with the catch. Guerra really racking up some numbers in his debut with the Greenheads. McClain has Guerra up under, but Memphis is going to sniff it out. Looks like Friesen got him immediately. Well, they put Friesen that time over the center. Usually he plays off to the side, and they'll have Kimbrough, but Friesen playing over Buckhalter that time. So that'll bring up a third and about 3 at the Memphis 20-yard line. Britt goes vertical. He has time in the pocket. That'll be a first down and a big hit delivered at the 11-yard line. And a little love tap's probably going to draw a flag, and there it is. Guerra over there. Looks like the initial down was made by Willis, and then.
So the only thing I'll say on that is it felt like the whistle and the second hit were kind of simultaneous. Guerra kind of gave himself up, but you're taught until you hear the whistle, keep playing. And I think that's what Willis was doing. So I get why the flag was thrown. I also understand what Willis is doing. I think it was kind of just unfortunate.
So Lee made the first hit. Jelani Willis comes in. Memphis, only 18 penalties for the first 3 games, 120 yards. They've been pretty disciplined as far as that goes.
Going up against a Monroe team that is the most disciplined team in the league. Just 15 penalties the entire season for 115 yards, both the best in the Arena League.
Guerra and Britt off to the left side. They'll have Quad Smith to the right. McLean.
Helmet comes off.
Starting to move to his right, and looks in the corner and has to throw it away. Coming across that time, that was Quad Smith trying to get to that back corner.
And Buckhalter lost his helmet, kept playing. As you're not going to leave your quarterback out to dry even if you do lose the helmet. But again, this Memphis red zone defense, the best in the league. They've already shown why tonight. Can they stand up once again after that personal foul?
Well, a guy they targeted once tonight, one the Hound Dogs probably going to watch for, and that's going to be their tight end, Frederick Lloyd. 6'3", 215. He got loose once. Guerra in the backfield with McLean. Rolls to his left. Looks to the back, overthrows his man again. And again, they went to the back looking for Quad Smith. And there's another souvenir in the back of that end zone.
That father and son, each with a game ball? Love to see that. Jeff, something we're seeing, Memphis, a Hound Dog is limping off, but they're trying to rotate fresh bodies in on the defensive line as much as possible.
Coming out of the game for Memphis, that was Tony Bell. Again, as we talked about, he's the running back, but was also 2-time All-American at Tennessee Martin, so they'll use him on both sides of the field. But we've come to the end of the first quarter of play, and the Hound Dogs are leading the Greenheads, but Monroe is threatening. It's 14-8 Memphis. Matt Enfield will take you to the second and the third quarters here for the Memphis Sports and Events Center when we come back in just a moment.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
Just stopped by. Can you throw these on the grill?
Garage beef? Huh. 5 more minutes.
All beef hot dogs. Filled with beer.
Honey, where are the gosh dang dogs?
5 more minutes.
Garage beef from Garage Beer.
What'd you do to these dogs?
Almost done.
Start of the second quarter here at the Memphis Sports and Event Center under Friday Night Lights. Hound Dogs on top of the Greenheads 14-8. Monroe trying to answer, potentially tie the game. Timmy McLean throws out to the flat. That's caught along the boards and down inside the 2-yard line. That is Fabian Guerra, who has been peppered with targets tonight. And I'll bring up 4th and goal from the 2. And Monroe, of course, will go for it.
And Memphis 1 for 2 tonight, keeping him out of that 1st and goal situation in the red zone. Did it twice in the game, which ended up playing huge last week. At the time they did it, Memphis had a substantial lead against the Ozarks, but at the end, they needed those stops.
So 4th and goal from the 2. Quad Smith will go in vertical motion, Britt in horizontal motion. McLean flustered right away. Escapes a man and throws it out of the back of the end zone, incomplete. And the Hound Dog defense, the best red zone defense in the league, comes up with another stop. Memphis ball.
They brought one of their D-backs, Jelani Willis, into the backfield that time. He may have caught a little piece of the arm of Timmy McLean, but he did enough to at least misdirect the pass there as they initially sent Britt in motion. You see Willis come in, tipped him just enough, got in the air, and overthrows Smith.
Jelani Willis, we've said his name a bunch tonight, making plays all over the field. The Hound Dogs take over with a 6-point lead. They will have to go nearly the length of the field, 48 yards, if they want to score. Sky Forrest, 2 touchdown passes to Donald Gray in that first quarter. Gray lined up to his right. They bring the blitz, and Forrest and Gray not on the same page there as the Greenheads brought a little bit of pressure, and Forrest, avoiding the safety, just throws it out of bounds.
Another new guy added for this ball game, at least on the active roster this week, and I think that was just get rid of the ball and don't think it's safety. John Smith coming off the right side was in Forrest's face quickly.
Tony Bell in at running back. We saw him limping off after a defensive snap on that last drive, so good to see him back on the field. Johnson in vertical motion, over the middle, almost intercepted. A couple of Greenhead defenders. That's Herard and Eric McIntosh Sr., who played at Florida Atlantic. Each had a shot at it, and they took each other out right through the hands of Herard, and then a little friendly fire after the bobble.
Well, they have pressured Forrest twice, and this is the place to do it. Memphis back against the wall here, not wanting to take a safety.
Gray to the right, Bell in the backfield, Johnson the receiver in vertical motion. 3rd and 10. Forrest rolling left, throws over the middle and dropped by Donald Gray. You don't see that often at all. 2 touchdowns already tonight for the former Mississippi State standout. But a key drop on 3rd down, and you would imagine Memphis will surrender, and they will.
Well, that's unfortunate because Gray, the pass is a little bit behind him. It's still in the hands, and he was right at the sticks to the 12-yard line. Would have been at least the 1st down for Memphis, but they'll have to surrender, and now it'll be another opportunity for the Greenheads to march down, tie it up, potentially grab the lead.
Yet if you are new to the Arena League, no kickers of any kind. So on 4th down, instead of punting, you surrender, and Monroe will get the ball at their own 15-yard line, needing 35 yards to find the end zone.
They started the league 2 years ago. Of course, one of their faces to start the league was Hall of Famer Tim Brown. What was his quote in the one interview? We kicked the kickers to the curb.
It's a unique wrinkle, but a fun one.
Yeah.
So Monroe will take over. Another crack at potentially tying or taking the lead. McLean going for it all. Down the left sideline. Over the head of the receiver, Britt, who takes out a young fan. Gets back to his feet.
Well, Darius Lee was back there fighting for the ball, but a little bit overthrown. And look, you got to be heads up. You're going to stay near the wall.
A little bit of opening there, and that young fan found out the hard way. The action will come find you in this league for sure.
Well, he would have been okay. He would have been fine, but it was Demasio Ewing, another guy that's now come in to the fray for the Hound Dogs out of Craigmont High School to deliver that hit.
Smith in vertical motion. McLean over the middle, and that one dropped, but a flag comes down after the play is over from the back judge, and it's going to be pass interference on Ladarius Lee, trying to break up that pass intended for Britt.
Flag came 25 yards from behind the play at the goal line.
a long way. It might have been the right call.
But
it just came from a long way back.
Here's the thing. It's just like basketball on a push. If you see those arms extend, you're going to get whistled whether there was really any contact or not.
So pass interference on Ladarius Lee is the call. Automatic first down, and Monroe will get the ball at midfield, the 25-yard line.
Second penalty tonight on Memphis.
Guerra in vertical motion. McLean manned his face right away, throws it away, and Ladarius Lee broke that pass up. There is a flag down in the backfield now.
Going to be on Hazard. They're going to say he pushed him down after the ball was thrown, it looks like. It's going to go against Memphis back-to-back penalties on the Hound Dogs.
So again, Monroe, the most disciplined team in the league. The Hound Dogs, one of the most disciplined coming in, and it's going to be a face mask on Ethan Hassler.
Yep.
And he did get McLean on the helmet. So back-to-back penalties. And now Monroe has the ball at the 15-yard line as Memphis has given them a free 20 yards in the span of 2 plays.
Well, I thought it was going to be a late push, but then on that replay there, I mean, again, you don't have to grab the mask. The hand made contact with it. You'll see it rake the mask right there, and he did grab onto it.
He got a handful of it. So 2 straight penalties from the Hound Dogs. And Monroe in the red zone once again, but this is where the Hound Dog defense has stepped up all night long. McLean drops back. Pressure in his face. Helmet comes off. McLean throwing to his right and throws it out of bounds. C.J. Buckhalter, the center, has now lost his helmet twice early in the second quarter as McLean was going for Smith along the right sideline.
Well, Memphis, whether it was Blaylock a week ago or Kimbrough this week at the nose guard, maybe the best team as far as getting that push. The center and the nose guard have to stay in the tackle box. They cannot, obviously, center cannot receive, cannot carry the ball, and the nose guard, basically by rule, to put it in layman's terms, you just got to play one-on-one.
Here's Smith in vertical motion from the right side. Second down from the 15. McLean with time, pats the ball over the middle. That's caught and down at about the 7-yard line that time. Was Herrard, I believe. Playing on both sides of the ball tonight. Went up and got that one. So set up a 3rd and short for Monroe.
Well, obviously here, 2-down territory, you're already past the surrender mark. So you got 2 shots, and you don't need a touchdown. They just need to get to the 5 to get the first down.
Guerra lined up to McLean's left. 3rd and 2 from the 7. Handoff to Guerra. Trying to dance to get the first down. I think he's going to be about a half a yard short, and he is. And Hassler in on the tackle that time for Memphis. He'll set up a 4th and inches inside the 6-yard line.
Memphis could have got the initial stop on the contact by Friesen to at least stop his momentum. Could have had him back at the 7. Hassler ended up having to tackle him forward. So you see right there, 1 yard away from that first down.
So 4th and short. Monroe trying to get everyone lined up in the proper spots. And they'll call a timeout.
And Memphis is going to stack that box there because we talk about the Memphis quarterback, Sky Force, at 6'5", 225. McLean, not quite as big, 6'1", 192, but that's still decent size at 6'1". He's a guy, if he goes up the middle, can stretch that ball out. So Memphis had 4 in the box that time. Again, the unique setup as you saw right there. And there's your head coach wearing the bucket hat there. That is Robert Redmond. He is 2-0 so far after taking over after game 1 when Memphis lost at Nebraska.
Redmond, a lifelong Memphian. Been assistant coach at a number of local high schools, including Overton High School, not too far from here. Not the first time he's coached the Hound Dogs before. He was also a head coach on the Mississippi Hound Dogs, or a coach on the staff of the Mississippi Hound Dogs back in 2011. Redmond's a defensive guy at his core. And so far tonight, the Memphis defense has answered the call anytime they've been under duress for the most part. A big play coming up here as they try to get another red zone stop and hold on to this lead.
Made no bones about it. Didn't try to hide the fact when we talked to him before the game. He goes, I'm excited to get to go up against a guy like Terry Bound tonight. I'm not going to play that down. That's a resume. That's a bullet on your resume there.
After a timeout, 4th and inches. Smith in vertical motion. McClain, the handoff to Guerra. Hit the backfield, gets away for the moment. Still turns the legs. He's going to be, I believe, short of the goal line, but he does have the first down.
Guerra says he broke the plane, and to be honest, from where we sit up here,
It was close.
I don't know if they'll take another look at it, but it looked like the nose of that ball did cross the goal line. Memphis had him in the backfield, but Willis couldn't hang on.
Willis had a shot at him. And they're going to call him down.
I think the knee hit before
the
the ball
4.
crossed.
They're going to put the ball at the 4-yard line. So first and goal for Monroe at the 4. Now a heavy personnel package.
You don't see a lot of this in the indoor game at any league.
This is Herard, and they're going back to the bench looking for a call. They're going to have to burn their second time out of the half.
Well, they had Herard coming up. Quad Smith was way back around the 25-yard line. At first, man, I didn't know if there was legitimate confusion, or are they trying to maybe deke Memphis into thinking there's confusion, call a quick snap, throw a tight end out there, but timeout called by Monroe.
It looked like a, whatever you want to call it, a tush-push, brotherly love formation for you Philadelphia Eagle fans out there or NFL fans. You don't see much of that in the Arena League, but mass confusion on the Monroe side, and they've now burned 2 timeouts in a matter of moments.
And it wasn't they weren't just hanging Quad back at the 25. He was late coming in off the bench. So whatever package they wanted to run, they did not have the personnel out there that they wanted, because you saw you had Joe Perron up there. He had James Herard behind the center.
Herard, who's played on both sides of the ball tonight and been pretty active at both, had a catch earlier on this drive. He's also been playing defensive back, and apparently might be their tush-push quarterback that we'll never see. And now they come out in a more traditional formation. McClain in the gun. Guerra offset to his left. Guerra in vertical motion now comes across horizontally. McClain escapes a sack, fumbles the ball. It's loose. And I think McClain fell on top of it, but that's a loss of 11 yards. Another key sack at Jelani Willis, who missed the tackle on Guerra on 4th down moments ago.
So Willis wraps him up, forced the fumble. Here comes Hasler behind him, and we'll get the view from the back. Boy, and that ball.
McClain very lucky to fall on top of it, because if he doesn't, Memphis is going the other way for a scoop and score. So second and goal from the 14 after the loss of 10 on the snap. Guerra, vertical motion. McClain, a little bit of time. Now Dancy to his left. Under duress.
Oh, he's got some room.
Escapes and now dumps it off. Finds his tight end. That is Frederick Lloyd, who makes something happen, and he's down at the 4, so he gets the penalty yardage back.
Second catch for Lloyd. South Florida, Texas State, and Louisiana Monroe. 21, played there in 21-22. 21 games for Monroe. 15 catches, 250 yards. Now playing for the hometown Greenheads. Now, that's the thing about the indoor game. Even though McClain had no room to run vertically due to the hatches, had Lloyd waiting out there in the flat.
Third and goal from the 4. Memphis all over McClain again. Try to escape. Willis has a shot at him. McClain throw it to the end zone. That's out of the back of the end zone. Incomplete. And that time, McClain hit the deck. 4th down coming up.
Scramble for the ball on the courts past the obstacle course, which you bring your family here, another treat. Hard to keep the kids in the stands. I got an obstacle course to go run on back there.
So 4th and goal from the 4. And Jeff, I know I sound like a broken record, but the best red zone defense in the league has a chance to make their mark and keep Monroe down once again.
That'll be the 4th time they've been in the red zone. They're 1 for 3 so far tonight. Memphis has made a couple of stops.
Britt to the left. Smith out wide to the right. Guerra in the slot. 4th down. Willis coming up. Fade ball. End zone. Intercepted by LaDarius Lee. He's got a shot to take it back all the way. Still on his feet. He goes the length of the field. Pick 6. Touchdown Memphis. LaDarius Lee with his 6th interception of the season. And he put 6 on the board for the Hound Dogs.
Lee had a pair his first 2 games, 1 pick against Ozarks a week ago. And the 5'11", 175-pounder out of Mitchell High School has the best instincts of the defensive backs. Great coverage. And look, I know it's game number 4, but you're going to be hard-pressed not to right now say defensive player of the year.
Absolutely. The Hound Dogs defense does get the red zone stop, and one better, they get the defensive touchdown to take a 20-8 lead. And it looks like they will go for it. There's a discussion amongst the referees. I believe they're going to line up from the 10-yard line. And they're just checking with the replay official up here to confirm the touchdown. They do.
Unofficially, I believe that will go down as a 48-yarder, right about the 2-yard line when he ducked down and picked it up off his knees.
Well, credit Lee, too, with the press coverage. Jamming up Britt at the line of scrimmage. Threw off the timing of the play. 2-point try. Forrest has to dodge pressure. Finds Stackett. Stackett, the big fella, rumbles into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
Well,
And the free throw into the crowd.
Huge mismatch there when you take a look at Big Stack. They call him 6'3", 285 pounds going against Trey Hunter. I don't have his numbers, but it's not 295.
So Stackett converts the 2-point try after the pick 6 from Ladarius Lee. And he is a couple yards into the end zone. 51, 52-yard return. And once he beat Lloyd coming back, it was clear highway to the end zone. And Forrest, big fella, finds another big fella. Stackett's an easy target, like you said. That is a size mismatch in the open field.
Yeah, Memphis will get their 2-possession lead back now late here in the opening half at 22-8. So Memphis, when they're facing a red zone, they've done it 4 times. They've had 3 stops against Monroe so far in the first half.
And a 2-possession lead, important with just over 5 minutes to play. And now take under 5 minutes to play in the first half because Monroe will get the ball to start the third quarter.
And Monroe in need of some momentum here with just under 5 minutes to go.
Fox, the throw-off, lands at about the 7-yard line. Fielded by Guerra, makes one man miss. Now tiptoeing the sidelines. Guerra is still on his feet, and he'll be taken down at about the 18-yard line. So the Greenheads will have about 32 yards to go if they want to find the end zone.
Tell you what, I like what Guerra brings to Monroe. We've seen him catch the ball, run the ball, take the throw off so far tonight, makes good moves. He's a guy that's not afraid to put his head down, take a hit as well, finds ways to get open. So Monroe's got a really nice weapon as they put Guerra on the active roster tonight.
Native of Miami, who played his college ball at Fairmont State, is Fabian Guerra. And a nice addition to a wide receiver room with Smith and Britt, which is amongst the best in the league with the Hound Dogs as well. McClain in the gun. Will send Smith in vertical motion on the right side. Going for it all. Down the right sideline. Intercepted! Try to get a number for you. Demisio Ewing. New to the Hound Dogs. And on back-to-back plays, McClain's thrown an interception. There is a flag down near the line of scrimmage. We're going to look at this.
Well, Demisio Ewing, a newly added player here. He's out of Craigmont High School in Memphis, but it looks like it may not count, unfortunately, for Ewing in his debut for the Hound Dogs.
Another hands to the face penalty this time, as the Hound Dogs have been all over McClain. But maybe a little bit too aggressive, and that'll wipe the interception and the turnover off the board and give Monroe new life on this drive. And McClain throwing up that time for Smith in the double coverage. An ill-advised decision, but he'll get let off the hook by the 15-yard personal foul penalty.
Well, over about the last 20 minutes, Matt, and Memphis doing what they weren't able to do, maybe the first 5 to 8 minutes of the game, they're now forcing McClain to move laterally a lot from wall to wall.
And not giving him an opportunity to run up the middle. So first down from Monroe at the 17. McClain, ball knocked out of his hands, intercepted. That one is going to count. It's Willis. He's taking it back for another Hound Dog pick 6. Touchdown, Memphis.
This Memphis secondary has been amazing this year. Early on, it was Lee. He had a pick 6 tonight. Now Willis gets in on the action, his second interception of the season. Memphis came into the game with 8 picks. That's 10 on the season.
So McClain throws an interception on 3 straight plays. The last one didn't count. This one certainly did. Willis, the pick 6. And after Ladarius Lee put up the defensive touchdown, the last time Monroe had the ball, it is Willis's turn, and he extends the Hound Dog lead. Willis, a native of right here in Memphis, who played at Tennessee State and Western Michigan. Makes it 28-8 Hound Dogs. They'll go for 2. Forrest pressured, steps up, throws to the corner of the end zone, and a flag comes down. I believe this is going to be pass interference.
They were looking, it looked like, for Tony Bell there in the high corner. And on the backside, it looked like Trey Hunter's the one that made contact for the Greenheads. 38 yards unofficially on that pick 6 for Willis.
We'll get another look at some point, but McClain was pressured, which is what caused the pick 6. The ball was deflected. It was a floater, and Willis, he's a linebacker, showed off the hands and took it back.
Well, somebody caught his arm initially, because
Yeah.
that was, a lack of a better term, wounded duck coming out of his hand.
So now the Hound Dogs will go from the 5-yard line. Forrest spins away, floats it back in the end zone. Beautiful throw to Kiwan Malone. And a 2-pointer with the soft touch from Sky Forrest makes it 30-8 Memphis as they've started to extend the lead here in the last couple of minutes.
22-point lead. Let's take a look at the touchdown, and I believe it was Hasler that got the hand on the arm. Yep, Hasler.
Exactly who it is.
There you see it wobble out and just waiting for him. 38 yards.
Ethan Hassler, another hometown product, native of Collierville, Tennessee, who's a really good player at Arkansas State. And now Forrest, rolling left, throws across his body, and he finds the former Memphis Tiger, Kiwan Malone, wide open, but the high degree of difficulty on that throw.
Now here's the concern from Robert Redmond. Talked to him yesterday at the Hound Dog walkthrough. Memphis had a substantial lead at the half of the Ozarks, even early in the fourth quarter. They won it on the last play of the game, 46-43. He says this team has to learn to put a team away. They did it against Iowa 2 weeks ago. They almost let one slip through their fingers at Ozarks last week.
So Fox a throw off, taken, and a little bit of room to run here, but then driven into the boards that time was Jatarius Turpin, who has quite the lineage of kick returners, Jeff. He is the younger brother of Dallas Cowboys all-world kick returner, Cavante Turpin.
Came in, 5 rushes, 19 yards, and a touchdown. Now, one thing the Memphis defense has done tonight, Matt, even though Quad Smith, yes, he scored a touchdown to make it 8-6 early in the game, they've limited his touches tonight. Now, they've been able to get Guerra plenty of touches tonight, but their big receiver, Quad Smith, they've got to find a way to get him the ball. He's been their playmaker.
Smith had 7 catches, 100 yards, a pair of touchdowns last week. He has been conspicuously quiet so far in this one. McClain, time, over the middle, wide open. And there is the aforementioned Quad Smith. Makes a move to the left side, and he's hit and knocked down at about the 19-yard line. So the Hound Dog defense, which has been excellent tonight, loses track of the Greenhead star receiver, and he makes them pay.
Well, I really like what Quad Smith did there. Caught at the 25, made sure he brought it into the letters, secured the ball, turned, got another 6 yards out of the play.
So first and 10 coming up from the 19-yard line as the Greenheads try to get the play call they want in. McClain sent Smith in vertical motion. Dump off pass that time. Caught and hammered from behind. Ball came out as well. I think they're going to say Perron was down. He got hit hard from behind. I think he's hurt. Play was whistled dead. It was Perron who caught the short pass.
I think big Meonte Kimbrough came from behind and got him. He played at Kentucky Christian, a little time at Memphis, Tennessee State, a Memphis native.
Well, Darius Lee had great recognition of the play right away. That ball was out. That ball was very clearly out. And if there's imminent recovery by Memphis would probably be the way to put it. This should be Hound Dog football.
Well, that's a load falling on you, too, in Meonte Kimbrough. And the Memphis nose guards, whether it was Blaylock the first couple weeks, Kimbrough now, nose guards are never really going to get any kind of credit, but getting pressure on quarterbacks, they've been outstanding so far this season. And again, Memphis causing a little havoc back there. This could potentially, as they're looking at on the review, they've phoned down to the officials on the field as you got a challenge flag out there as well. This could be the third straight turnover in 3 possessions now for Monroe.
Kimbrough delivered the hit, recovered by Markeria Johnson, the wide receiver playing defense on that snap. And the red challenge flag is out. And I believe this is going to be Hound Dog football. As this defense, Jeff, we've talked so much about the weapons they have offensively. Big guys in Hamilton and Stackett, the wide receivers, Gray and Malone. But this defense is putting on a show tonight.
No, they put on a show 2 weeks ago against Iowa. They had the game, let's be blunt, in hand. Another great defensive performance. But I think they ran out a little bit of steam, maybe lost a little focus. Ozark certainly came back, and they are going to overturn it. That ball was loose. The Hound Dogs have a chance really for the dagger here with just over 2 minutes to go.
Hound Dog football. Now, because they blew the play dead, they clearly recovered it, but they won't count the return because obviously once the Greenheads heard the whistle, they essentially stopped playing. So that's why you see maybe referees try to in the moment. It's a tough call to make, but you let it play out, and then you can always correct it later on. So what could have been a scoop and score touchdown for Memphis is all for naught. Nonetheless, they force a third straight turnover on a Monroe drive.
Now Memphis, good situation here, 2:16 to go. They're going to get the timeout at the 2-minute warning, and then once you get under 2 minutes, it goes back to more traditional. First down stops the clock. It's not the run clock. They'll have plenty of time to march down the field, although the Hound Dogs, not a possession team. They like the big play.
And all 3 timeouts in tow for Memphis. Forrest with Bell to his left. Dumps it off to Bell, a little bit behind him, and incomplete. And Forrest driven into the turf that time by John Brown, the second out of Jackson State. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. It has been a Hound Dog defensive avalanche here in the second quarter. Memphis on top of Monroe, 30-8. With the ball at the 2-minute warning. You're watching the Arena League. We'll be right back. Two minutes to play in the first half here in Memphis. Hound Dogs on top 30-8. Pick sixes in the second quarter from Ladarius Lee and Jelani Willis. Memphis on top by 22 with the ball and a chance to extend it even further. Johnson in vertical motion. Low snap. Throw over the middle. Johnson, a lot of traffic in the air. That one's intercepted. Picked off that time and driven down inside the 5-yard line. That's Eric McIntosh Sr., the former Florida Atlantic Owl, with a much-needed play for the Greenheads. And instead of the Hound Dogs potentially delivering an early dagger, Monroe will get a chance to cut into the lead with under 2 minutes to play in the first half.
McIntosh originally had a Fort Myers, so able to stay close to home at FAU in 23 games. Came up with 65 tackles from 2005, from 2008 for the Owls, who are now members of the American Conference. But again, here is the initial hit in and out of the hands, just popped loose.
A lot of traffic there. Johnson in between 3 bodies. So first and goal from the 4. McLean feeling the heat to the end zone. Aguera has been peppered with targets all night, and he finds the end zone for the first time in a Monroe uniform. And the Greenheads take advantage of the turnover right away and inch a little bit closer.
That's really huge in this situation. Memphis potentially could have gone up 38-8. Instead, they're going to work it back to just a 2-possession game, which is not really huge in this league.
As Willis applying the pressure that time, and McLean floated up there and found his new teammate, who's been all over the place tonight. So 6 on the board, 30-14. Monroe will go for 2 from the 10-yard line. Smith in vertical motion. McLean with time. Kibro in his face, and McLean just going to throw it into the crowd and give the fans a souvenir. So the Hound Dog defense stout near the end zone once again, as there's a fight for the ball. It means something. Going home with that souvenir means something. 30-14, and now Memphis with 1:21 to play in the first half. All 3 timeouts in tow. A chance to atone for that interception turned into a touchdown.
Chance for Memphis to either march down, get the momentum back, or Monroe can use their timeouts and get a stop. Monroe's got an opportunity to make it a 1-possession game before the end of the half.
Monroe 1 timeout left, so in theory they could get the ball back, but probably kicking themselves a little bit, needlessly burning 2 of those when they couldn't get lined up earlier. That comes in pretty crucially in this situation. And again, under 2 minutes to play, a more traditional way to stop the clock. It's not a running clock the entire way. Incompletions, the clock stops. First down, the clock will stop to reset the chains and things of that nature.
But even if it stands at 30-14, 16 points, much more manageable for Monroe in the second half at this point.
So Herrard will throw. It's going to be Briggs back there to receive the throw off, standing at about the 10-yard line. Briggs gets it along the left sideline, makes the catch. Up the left side, along the board, still going. For momentum, will take him to the Monroe 20-yard line. I think that's Lloyd who is arguing that he should be down where the board moved near midfield, but
that's a difference in the indoor leagues, Matt, and it looks like they will put it back. A lot of the indoor leagues say it contact with the boards, but I believe the Arena League, it initially stated if your momentum kept going, you were going to get forward progress.
I guess if you move the boards, that's where they'll put the ball. So Briggs ruled down at, let's call it, the Memphis 23-yard line, about 2 yards short of midfield. 1:24 to play, 3 timeouts to work with for the Hound Dogs. Forrest, the quarterback. Forrest airing out, going for the end zone. He wants Gray, who goes up. Did he catch that ball? Touchdown, Memphis, Donald Gray. His most spectacular act as a Hound Dog yet. His 3rd of the night, if it counts.
Got to have a foot in.
Let's get a look at the replay. Oh, you got to be kidding me. With possession. That's going to count. Donald Gray, his 3rd touchdown of the first half. And that one's got to be on SportsCenter tonight. As acrobatic as it gets, Forrest threw it up there for his best weapon. And the former White Station High School standout but a very productive career at Mississippi State, and you can tell he played in the SEC. 2-point try coming up from the 10-yard line for Memphis.
Got 8 TDs so far on the season.
Forrest dumps it off to Bell, just a little bit too far front. And Forrest wanted the flag. Will not get it. And that's going to make it a 36-14 game. Jeff, you're going to see this one on the highlight reels all season and beyond. I didn't think there was any chance he could catch that ball, but Donald Gray built different.
Well, look, he was covered well by Trey Hunter. Hunter did all he could do, but was able to turn the body and get the foot in with plenty of room. His foot was in when we saw the replay by about a yard. Didn't get some help from the hometown fans to slow the momentum. Don't want that star receiver to get hurt.
Jeff, obviously the spotlight on Memphis tonight has been their defense, but cannot be said enough how much their season changed when they added Donald Gray and Keywan Malone week 2. They've looked like a completely different team since then.
Well, with the receivers they have, both in Gray and Malone, they have 2 sets of weapons. Tonight, they've not really had to use, even though Staggon's got an extra point. And if they start keying on Gray and Malone, watch out for Hamilton and Stackens in the second half.
Throw bounces at the 8, goes down to the 1, and in a lot of trouble inside the 5-yard line. And dumped right there is going to be Jatarius Turpin. Once the ball bounced and he fielded it.
It's like the newcomer Demasio Ewing got in there and got the tackle. And he gets the guy added to the roster this week, a local guy out of Craigmont High School, being the biggest market in the Arena League. Memphis, whether they've gone out and got collegiate players, Division I, II, NAIA, they have also made a lot of hay on their roster with former high school players in the Memphis metro area.
Former high school players from the area of all ages, too. You think about a guy like Stackens, who was at the University of Memphis 10 years ago, Donald Gray, who was at Mississippi State within the last decade, and you got guys like Hassler, who just got done playing college ball. One timeout for Monroe. McLean trying to avoid the safety, and he almost ran out of bounds, throws it into the stands. And boy, if Timmy McLean didn't step on the hardwood, which would have been a safety, he was awfully close.
Well, I got to have awareness out here. And again, there's a few arena teams with open end zones, Memphis being one of them. There's not a lot, but there are a few.
There's Hassler, and then I think it was Kimbrough who arrived to apply some extra pressure. We talked to this coaching staff this week. They believe they have the best defensive line unit in the league. It would be hard to argue with them with what they put on tape. Second down coming up. Hassler all over McLean. Had a hand on him. McLean, I think they're going to say he was outside the hashes when he broke the line of scrimmage. It was close, but you have to have both feet inside the hashes. Otherwise, it is not a legal rush. And McLean, I believe, had one outside the hash when he broke the line of scrimmage.
Looked like his right foot. He shuffled it over to the right. We'll make it a look at on the replay, but it looked like he did just go outside that hash mark. You mentioned
look at a championship belt. Yeah. I need one of those.
Talked about the personnel moves made after week 1. They made, obviously, the coaching change when they promoted Robert Redmond to head coach. Yeah, he is outside of the hash mark, so that will be the penalty. Let's take another look here.
It was Hassler applying the pressure again.
Just trying to find a little room, and he was right at the line of scrimmage. It wasn't by much, but right there.
So it'll be second down, half the distance to the goal, so back them up essentially 1.5 yards. And they'll snap this ball in the shadow of their own end zone at about the 1.5 yard line. McLean under duress again. Just keeps his footing. Almost intercepted. Dangerous throw over the middle of the field. And that was Ewing who had a shot at that one.
Well, Ewing making a big impact in his debut here for Memphis. Memphis already with a couple of picks and a fumble recovery tonight.
Hassler and then Kimbrough, the same duo on the last rush. Making McLean's life difficult back there. So now third down coming up. And the Greenheads have not used any time off the clock. So now they're in position here. If they don't pick up this first down, they probably have to surrender and give the ball back to Memphis with all 3 timeouts. McLean rolling left over the middle, caught, and that will be a first down. Nice contested catch that time by Mark Britt II. And now I think Louisiana will call their final timeout. Feller's going to move the chains.
Well, big catch, too. You get the first down. You don't have to surrender because even though it's 40 yards to go, if you surrender, Memphis has made the big plays tonight. They would have had probably 4 good shots at scoring again.
Now the clock will run on the snap. McClain, a little more time that time. Finds Guerra left side. And tries to get away from Willis, still on his feet. But they'll call him down at about the 20-yard line. I think now Monroe will call their final timeout of this first half as they try and put a last-minute drive together to cut it to this 22-point deficit with under 30 seconds to play in the half.
Going back to my point, not only did they make a coaching change, Memphis and Robert Redmond, the personnel changes with Malone as a Hound Dog is down, and then Gray, they add Ewing. This is a vastly different team, games 2, 3, and 4, than they saw in game 1 against Nebraska's Coach Redmond now tending to his injured Hound Dog over by the wall.
Robert Redmond in the bucket hat, and Ethan Hassler back to his feet, and that's great to see for the hometown product, who has been a huge impact player for Memphis as he gives the thumbs up. And you love to see that. Hassler played 44 games across 5 seasons at nearby Arkansas State, about an hour away from here. He was second on the Red Wolves in sacks and tackles for a loss just last fall in 2025. So this is a guy who's an impact player on a pretty good program very recently.
104 career tackles, 8 sacks. He's got 2 picks so far this season.
Lollipop of a snap to McClain over the middle. He's got his man once again. That's Britt into the boards at the 22-yard line.
And again, for player safety, the walls that Memphis has, the breakaway walls, some of the traditional ones that are anchored down, that's where you get some injuries. These will have a little give for player safety.
Now we've got 12 seconds on the clock, which will start at the snap. McClain rolling left, escapes pressure, fires across his body, dangerous throw, Ewing over there, and it goes out of bounds, incomplete, showing 5 seconds on the clock.
Well, Memphis also had DJ Briggs playing a little defense on that one. You see him on offense a lot, but he was spying. Eyes got a little big. I think Briggs was maybe thinking about going for it.
Remember, Briggs had the throw-off return touchdown wiped off the board before. Primarily a special teams and offensive player, but if he get a defensive touchdown, you know he'd love that.
5 seconds should be the last play of the half.
I'm not quite sure what prevent defense looks like in the Arena League, but also if you're Memphis, I mean, you're getting home with your pass rush so consistently, you might not need to play that.
They have Willis, the deep man for Memphis.
Vertical motion, another high snap. McClain with Fox in his face, now rolling right. That's Cormonte Hamilton running after him. McClain crossbody throw, out of the back of the end zone, incomplete. And that should be the final play of the first half. The Hound Dogs scored 2 defensive touchdowns in the second quarter. And here at home, they take a 22-point lead to the locker room. The vibes are good in the Bluff City tonight. We'll take a short break and recap the first half of action here from the Memphis Sports and Event Center. The Dogs are barking. They're up by 22. You're watching the Arena League.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite Tal player.
Garage beer saved my life. 30 years ago today.
A lot of predators in this jungle.
Almost done.
Come on, man. Let's get it.
Back at the Memphis Sports and Event Center, where at halftime, the Hound Dogs lead the Greenheads 36-14. Alongside Jeff Brightwell, I'm Matt Infield. 3 first-half touchdowns from the star wide receiver Donald Gray. Back-to-back pick sixes by the Hound Dogs defense. Jeff, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. This looks like about as complete a team as you could ask for right now, though.
Guy Forrest looks as comfortable as we have seen him in the first 4 games. 3 touchdowns tonight. Gray now has 8 touchdowns receiving. Forrest with his 10th touchdown. Then you take a look at defense, and how about, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, midway point defensive player of the year, Stink Lee, they call him. 6 interceptions. He's had a pick in every game so far this season.
Jelani Willis with a pick 6 as well. 3 forced turnovers by this Hound Dogs defense in a South Division game with pretty important implications as we hit the halfway point of the season. Memphis looking good to improve to 3-1 and maintain the hold of the lead on top of the division.
Well, potentially a 2-game lead, depending on how the games fall tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Monroe going to be a little desperate in the second half. They do not want to fall 2 games out with just 4 games remaining, because it's just the division winners playing for a championship. You can play yourself out of contention really early in an 8-game season.
Hound Dogs had a big league last week on the road at the Ozarks. Barely hung on to it. They're going to try to close it out with a little bit less stress tonight. Come back and look at some highlights from an exciting first half here in the Bluff City, where the Hound Dogs lead Monroe 36-14. (36-14). Hound Dogs on top of Monroe at the half. And Jeff, this game has provided plenty of highlights so far, and it started from the very first play from scrimmage for Memphis, a sensational touchdown from Sky Forrest to Donald Gray.
Well, 25-yarder, first play from scrimmage after the throw-off, hit him down the right side of the field toward the corner, kept his feet in bounds, penalty there, but it was nullified. That was a defensive penalty. And again, that's been his favorite target over the last couple of games. Hangs on to it, one hand into the padding, foot in bounds, maintains control. Finds Gray again, comes over the side, and that time it was Hamilton who comes in, gets the extra point. Corbante's been big this year. Meanwhile, you take a look, they get McClain running for his life. It's been constant pressure tonight early on McClain. They do get one loose. There is the ball down just to the right side. Now, here comes an opportunity for Memphis, and this is the play that was called back. Memphis on the return to DJ Briggs, found some room, broke a couple of tackles, and in fact, hanging on to the last point was Herard, gets a little room. That play, though, is called back on a block in the back. Meanwhile, Memphis comes back. It's going to be Forrest. They'll find Gray up the middle. Not only can he go deep, he has a little bit of breakaway speed as well. That's the second of his 3 touchdowns.
That was the most routine of his 3 touchdowns in the first half. This is a throw I think Sky Forrest is going to want to have back. Throwing over the middle, and it ends up in the hands of James Herard, who's got nothing but clear highway on the pick 6 that got Monroe a little bit closer. This was a huge play here. We talked about the Memphis red zone defense. McClain with a chance to either give Monroe the tie or the lead. Instead, a pick 6 by Ladarius Lee on 4th and goal. His 6th interception of the season so far. And that set the tone for what was a runaway rest of the quarter for Memphis. And speaking of runaway, that's a runaway freight train right there. Michael Stackett converting the 2-point try. Very next drive, McClain's arm is hit, and Jelani Willis, who was all over the field the first half, ball lands right in his lap. He takes it back for a pick 6. Forrest showing off the nimble feet here. Crossbody throw. Keywan Malone back in the end zone. Another successful 2-point try for the Hound Dogs.
But they get away that time to Joe Perron, and Joe Perron initially looked like it was down. They went back to review it. That ball came loose, and Memphis on 3 straight defensive possessions came up with a turnover. 2 picks and a fumble, but they finally break through as they'll get it to Fabian Guerra, who has had a lot of touches. But here's the most spectacular touchdown of the night.
Jeff, I couldn't believe that Donald Gray caught this ball. I didn't think he had any chance of it. Throwing it up there, the circus catch. And when you look at his first touchdown tonight, if you said he would have an even better one than that, you would think you're crazy. But he did. 8 touchdowns for Donald Gray in 3 games since becoming a Memphis Hound Dog. A big part of why the whole team is on top, 36-14 at the half. When we come back, we'll have our Player of the Week in the Arena League. Stick with us. Back at the Memphis Sports and Event Center where the Hound Dogs are on top of the Greenheads, 36-14 at the half. Jeff, this is a South Division matchup tonight. The two big dogs in this league so far, no pun intended, as we broadcast the Hound Dogs tonight, Nebraska and St. Joe's. And Nebraska quarterback Caleb Lowe put on another sensational performance last week. He's our player of the week in the Arena League. 218
yards, 7 touchdowns. Coach's favorite stat, though, no interceptions. As you mentioned, these two teams are being headed toward this game tomorrow night. It's going to be at St. Joe's. They both score a lot. They both play great defense. And right now, as you take a look at Nebraska and Caleb Lowe here, it's a two-team race in the North. They are both 3-0. Iowa, Eau Claire, both 0-3. So right now, these are big implications between Nebraska and St. Joe's, the first of two matchups between these teams.
St. Joe's 3-0 plus 117-point differential. Nebraska 3-0 plus 91. A heavyweight matchup on deck tomorrow night. We got to finish this one out under Friday Night Lights in Memphis. Hound Dogs on top 36-14. The third quarter is next.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite Tal player.
Just stopped by. Can you throw these on the grill?
Garage beef? Huh. 5 more minutes.
All beef hot dogs. Filled with beer.
Honey, where are the gosh dang dogs?
5 more minutes.
Garage beef from Garage Beer.
What'd you do to these dogs?
Almost done.
Come on, man. Let's get it.
Hometown fans having a good time tonight at the Memphis Sports and Event Center. The home squad on top 36-14. The Hound Dogs leading the Monroe Greenheads. Alongside Jeff Brightwell, Battenfield taking you through the action tonight. Jeff, Memphis led 14-8 after the first quarter and it just avalanche Monroe to the tune of 22-6 in the second.
Well, what's going to get covered up here with the two big interceptions and the fumble, what allowed that to happen defensively for Memphis, it stayed at 14-8 for a while.
Yep.
Memphis made two prior stops on both the red zone opportunities for Monroe at first and goal, stopped them from scoring, and then you do that, then you come up with the pick six by Lee, you get the interception by Willis, you get the fumble recovery, and then you're off to the races. Monroe scored a late touchdown, made it interesting, but the big TD, the 28-yarder from Forrest to Gray, opens it up again. They've got a 3-possession lead. Big for Memphis. As we mentioned, Matt, tomorrow night, Arkansas at Ozark. Arkansas can keep pace with Memphis with a win. Now, the point differential will come into play, and Memphis has to go over to Hot Springs next week. But Arkansas could be in a race with Memphis. If Ozarks beats Arkansas, Memphis finishes out this game. Memphis is going to have a 1-game lead midway through the season. Meanwhile, when you look at the North, and we already talked about Nebraska and St. Joe's, really the big game, Iowa at Eau Claire too. Because someone, let's face it, they're going to be done. The other one's barely going to be hanging on.
If they're not already, yes. Absolutely. This is the first of Two matchups in basically exactly a month between the Hound Dogs and the Greenheads. They'll face off again on July 18th in Monroe. But right now, Monroe in a world of trouble here in the Bluff City tonight, down by 22 at the half. Although, like we talked about, Jeff, Memphis had a big lead on the road at the Ozarks last week. Almost let it slip away before the buzzer-beating touchdown from Forrest Sestakins ended up winning it for them. But head coach Robert Redmond, I think he's going to want to see his team close out this game with authority tonight.
Well, had a 3-possession lead in the second half. All of a sudden, 58 seconds to go. Memphis has it at the 25-yard line. They do one run play, timeout, 3 incompletions. Ozarks hits the big, what looked like could be the game winner, but then it was big Stackins, so the game-winning catch as time expired.
Michael Stackins tonight with a 2-point conversion, but it has been the Donald Gray show offensively. 3 touchdowns in the first half, 2 of them of the jaw-dropping variety, now up to 8 in 2.5 games so far since joining the Hound Dogs in week 2. See some players from nearby Melrose High School in the Orange Mound neighborhood, about 5-10 minutes away from here. Good crowd at the Memphis Sports and Event Center tonight for the second ever Hound Dogs home game. And if they keep playing like this, these fans are going to keep coming out because they put on a show tonight.
You know, Melrose, the honorary captains tonight. I also have seen jerseys from Houston High School. That's where offensive coordinator Dustin Bowman is the OC out there. Coaches representing, of course, Robert Redmond. He's been at East and a lot of other places. And again, a lot of high school ties and a predominantly Memphis-based roster out of the prep ranks and even some of the local colleges here.
Both teams on the field to start the second half here in Memphis. It'll be Adrian Fox throwing off to Fabian Guerra for Monroe. Ball's in the air. We are underway. Second half in Memphis. I believe that ball skipped at the 11-yard line, so that's going to be a penalty on Memphis. Came up about a yard short. So that should give Monroe the ball at midfield.
You know, Memphis does that at home and on the road. A little bit lower ceiling at the Memphis Sports and Event Center. Forces a little bit lower throw, but Memphis will do that on the road and the higher ceilings too. Look, you can either loft it high and get some air under it like we used to do with the Nerf football in the backyard. Memphis likes that skip inside the 10 to see if they can get that ball to bounce around. That's just the way they approach their throw-offs.
So Monroe, good field position to start the third quarter, but that hasn't mattered much tonight with the way this Memphis defensive front has been getting after Timmy McClain. Let's see if Monroe has any adjustments coming out of the locker room. Throw to the sideline, caught. That's Britt on the run, and right away, a big hitter, gain of 20. And the Greenheads at the 5-yard line on the first play from scrimmage of the third quarter.
Now the first and goal opportunity here. They're going to have 4 shots at it from the 5-yard line.
But this is an area where the Hound Dogs defense has stood tall the entire night. And all season for that matter. Inside the red zone, this Memphis defense has been stout. Guerra in motion. McClain looking right. Hassler in his face, and McClain throws it to the fans. Nice catch by that young man in the neon yellow hoodie. It'll bring up second and goal.
To McClain's credit tonight, as much as Memphis has forced McClain to scramble tonight, look, he's got experience. We talked about his background, whether it was UCF, ASU, South Florida, Bethune-Cookman. He knows where he is. He does a smart thing. He'll throw the ball away. He won't try to force anything. Just take the next down.
McClain, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the season before tonight. He has doubled his interception total in this game. Guerra in vertical motion from the left side. Little return route caught by Guerra, and he is, they're going to call him down at the 1 because the wall moved. Otherwise, he kept his momentum, probably would have been a touchdown. But we saw that same play a couple times in the first half, where if the wall moves, they will rule you down. 3rd and goal from the 1 for Monroe.
Yeah, Willis does just enough right at about the half-yard line. They'll spot it at the 1.
So 3rd and goal at the 1. We haven't seen McClain run any quarterback power, any sort of quarterback draws tonight. Do they do it here? Memphis stacks the line of scrimmage. Hand off to Garrett, bobbled up, who laterals it to McClain, and then a forward pass. Memphis is asking for a flag, and one does come down. because I don't think McLean can legally throw the ball forward after the pitch from Guerra. Guerra, his first game in this league, you wonder if that played a factor.
Just trying to make something happen there.
I think at that point, McLean's got to be a ball carrier.
Right.
He can't throw it forward, so this should be a penalty against Monroe. And then Ladarius Lee and Britt having some quick words, but nothing much coming to that. A little pat on the helmet. I think they're all good. So now we await the official word from the referees. And again, Monroe just struggling to punch the ball in. Guerra was a yard away on the previous play. But Willis that time came flying in the backfield and had Guerra dead to rights, and he tried to make something out of nothing.
It's easy to say it up here from the broadcast booth, but at that point, if you're Guerra, you just got to take the loss of yardage there. You got 2 more shots inside the 7-yard line.
Still waiting on if Memphis might have declined the penalty to bring up 4th down, which they did with how well they played the red zone tonight. I don't know that you could blame them instead of giving Monroe 2 shots at it. It's risky, obviously, at the 1. And are we going to get this tush-push, brotherly love package? With James Herard on the handoff and try to drive forward into the end zone, and it is going to be a touchdown. Let's see who's down there at the bottom of the pile.
I believe it may be Lloyd.
Perot came up from the pile with the ball. I think it was Joe Perone, who had a rushing touchdown last week and looks to have found the end zone once again tonight.
A big fight there for Memphis. Nearly kept him out, but he did a nice job. Just keep the feet moving. That way they don't blow forward progress dead. And a nice job up front there by that offensive line and the tight ends by Monroe, not stopping.
So Monroe will go for 2 from the 10. Hassler all over McLean. Escapes. Nowhere to go. Making something out of nothing. Lloyd is dumped at the 5-yard line. 2-point conversion. No good. Like a heat-seeking missile that time was the newcomer Ewing to stop me out the 2-point try. He found Lloyd at the 5-yard line, and that was as far as Frederick Lloyd was going on that play.
Memphis is going to keep a 2-possession lead, a long 2-possession lead of 16 points right now. Still a lot of time to go in this game, so Memphis needing a response here once they get on offense. But a nice job that time by Monroe. I know it's been frustrating for them tonight inside the red zone at times. Got down to the 1, didn't try to get too fancy. Get into a ball carrier's hands, let your line do the job, keep the momentum going forward. And again, in the indoor game, a 2-possession lead, not really a big deal.
The throw-off penalty by Briggs giving Monroe good field position. 20-yard play on the first play of the drive to Mark Britt. And then on 4th and goal from the 1, the brotherly shove. And Perot scores for the 2nd week in a row. Briggs will field it. Here's Odenzo. He's got a little bit of room to run. Briggs up the left side near midfield. And Briggs driven down. There was a penalty flag at the Memphis 20-yard line as Briggs makes it inside the Monroe 20, but we'll see if this might be coming back.
A little bit of a late flag, and it looks like there was contact. This is the unfortunate thing, as Briggs had already made the cut and cleared the line. And I'm not sure that Stackens, who got the late push back there around the 20-yard line, as we get a second look here, that is going to get whistled for it.
So Memphis, which is done a pretty good job of avoiding penalties the last couple of weeks, had them pile up tonight. It hasn't hurt them that much thus far, but another big return by Briggs is wiped out. The one before was a touchdown. This one would have put Memphis inside the red zone right away to start the drive.
You know, Robert Redmond, even though the penalties haven't been at moments that have really impacted Memphis except for Briggs' touchdown that got called back, don't want to start developing bad habits here. I believe it was going to be Stackins with that push, and unfortunately, that penalty was behind the ball carrier. He had already cleared where Stackins was. All right, here's a look at it. Stackins wearing number 90 in the middle of your screen. So there goes Briggs around. He's clear, and there is the shove.
Push. The initial block was fine. It was the second push when he was already on the ground. So the Hound Dogs, instead of starting inside the Monroe 20, will begin this drive at their own 6-yard line. Malone out wide to the right. Gray in horizontal motion. Forrest takes off, and he did break the line of scrimmage between the hashes. And it's a pickup of about 5 for Sky Forrest, one of the first times we've seen him take off and run tonight.
I think Joe Perron was trying to contend that he maybe stepped out of the hash, but he took the step back in right at the line of scrimmage to stay between the hashes. Then once you get past, you can go wall to wall.
Forrest last week had 5 rushes for 26 yards and a touchdown on the ground to go with his 4 in the air. Gray in vertical motion. Forrest taking a deep shot. Malone wide open. He's got it. Touchdown, Memphis. A 39-yard strike from Sky Forrest to Kiwan Malone. And the Hound Dogs counterpunch after the Monroe score and find the end zone once again.
Going to be eager to see the replay. I'm not sure what move he played on James Herard, but he was 10 yards clear once the ball went up. He either faked in or did a stutter step. He's got 6 yards past Herard.
First touchdown of the night for Kiwan Malone. Played his college ball right across the parking lot from here at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium with the Memphis Tigers. Also a product of Mitchell High School. 2-point try. Forrest evades the first man. Evades him again and just flips it out in front. Should be an incomplete pass, and it is. Applying the pressure that time was John Brown II, the Jackson State product. So the Hound Dogs, who have been money on the 2-point conversions tonight, unsuccessful that time, but nonetheless a 3-possession game. Once again, 42-20 Memphis.
It gets a 3-possession lead back for the Hound Dogs here. Now Monroe looking to respond. Both teams in a little bit similar situations last week on the reverse side, because Monroe, who beat Arkansas, were down by double digits, rallied to win that game. Memphis had to hold off those Ozarks and went on the last play. Let's take another look.
Stutter and go by Kiwan Malone. Forrest, a little pump fake to get the DB to bite, and Malone was gone. Malone might have played college ball 12 years ago, but he's still got some of those route running chops and savvy on display.
Yeah, Stackins had played with Tommy West back in 2008. That's when we're telling you, look at some of these age differences in this league. But look, if you can play, you can play.
I think it's fair to say right now Memphis has a lot of players who can play. Fox this time, throw-off lands inside the 5-yard line and losing his footing for a second and take it down at, let's call it, the 13-yard line. That was Jatarius Turpin. Was had a bit of a rough time getting anything going in the kick return game tonight. So long field for Monroe of 37 yards to go to find the end zone.
Well, the name we've called the most tonight has been Guerra. They've got to find a way to get Quad Smith active here. Got to find a way to get Britt a few catches. You mentioned Turpin in the ball game. Lloyd, the tight ends, made a couple of grabs so far, but it's been a lot of Guerra tonight.
Guerra, vertical motion out of the slot. McLean over the middle. Dangerous throw, but a nice catch made by Britt, who's down at midfield and has the Monroe first down. Mark Britt started his collegiate career at Ole Miss before ending up with Louisiana Monroe. Played 4 games on special teams with the Rebels. Also had a stop at East Mississippi Community College. Didn't record any stats for the Warhawks, but again, a Division I player in the area for this Greenhead squad.
Had 6 catches, 3 TDs a week ago for the Carroll City, Florida native.
McLean, a little bit of time. Now Hassler's coming after him. Another throw over the middle and going up and making the catch at the 12 was Quad Smith, who you just talked about, Jeff. It's been their best receiver this season, quiet tonight. But makes an impact there as he climbed the ladder to make a tough contested catch.
Not a lot of touches tonight, but when he has made the touch, he's made the catch, he's come up with big plays. Remember, had their first touchdown.
Smith walloped by Adrian Fox, but not before hanging on to the ball. And Monroe has it out to 12. Threatening to score once again. Guerra, vertical motion at the slot. Kimbrough applying pressure. McLean finds his outlet. That's Lloyd, makes one man miss. And he'll be gang tackled at about the 10-yard line. Short gain for Frederick Lloyd, the former USF and ULM receiver and tight end.
It's an example of what we saw last week. Kimbrough gets the early push, gets him scrambling. Don't have the second man. Friesen was coming up a little bit too late that time, but Memphis has been able, from the nose guard position, from Blaylock last week, Kimbrough tonight, to get a really nice push on the opposing centers. They need that second man in to finish off the quarterback, but what a job that McLean's done tonight to keep himself alive.
So 2nd and 7. Let's call it 2nd and 5 actually from the 9. McLean rolling left, crosses body, ball tipped up in the air, almost intercepted by Fox. I think it was Ewing who got his hand on it initially, and then Fox had a shot at it, and it falls incomplete.
Well, that'll force him to 3rd down here. Let's take another look. Again, had him scrambling, throwing across his body. That's where they wanted to flush him tonight. Just in and out of the hands. A nice job by the Monroe receiver to grab his leg so he couldn't pull it in. Memphis wanted McLean to move to his left a lot, or to his right tonight, to throw across the body. They've not been able to do that a ton so far.
Low snap. McLean handles it, but in trouble. Throws for Guerra, incomplete. Bang, bang play. No flag. 4th down coming up.
Guerra wanted that pass interference. Said he was on his back. Doesn't get the flag. It's another thing I like about the indoor game. When people complain about the outdoor 11-man game, they won't let you play anymore. They'll throw the flags. They're going to let these guys get on each other.
Definitely close, but Ewing timed it up pretty well. No flag thrown. And it'll be 4th and 5 for the Greenheads from the 9-yard line. Important play coming up. Memphis bugs up the line of scrimmage. Low snap. McLean in trouble right away. Gets away from a man. Pass batted down. Ladarius Lee knocks that one to the ground. And another turnover on downs for the Monroe offense. The Hound Dogs will take over.
Well, now in the back of the end zone, you got Guerra, and that may be Hasler jawing a little bit. It is Hasler in the back corner, but that was going to go back to Guerra. Lee, 10 yards up, able to get the big hand up and knock it down.
Darius Lee, 6 interceptions on the season, a pick 6 already tonight. And the Hound Dog fans having fun in the second home game for this franchise in their inaugural season.
They put on a show, and looks like they're going to send Willis to the locker room.
Actually, I think it's Donald Gray,
Okay.
Jeff. Keep an eye on that. Forrest pitch. This is to Bell, a little bit of running room. Bell navigating his way, still on his feet, keeping those legs churning. It's Tony Bell, and finally piled down at the Monroe 20-yard line. Credit him with a pickup of 15. Make that 20.
9 carries, 38 yards a week ago, averaged 4.2. We talked to the coaches earlier this week. Look, people are going to key on Gray and Malone, your tight ends, and Stackins and Hamilton. At what point of the season do you think that opens up the run game?
So a field flipping play for Memphis. First real big hitter for Bell tonight. Flag comes out. Bell running room to his left. Wonder if this is going to come back as he's tabletopped at the 15-yard line, but flag would make you think it's something on the Hound Dogs offense.
Not sure if we got some early movement. May have gotten Stackins on the left side.
Not coming set all the way. So Bell, after the gain of 20, had pickup of about 9, but I think it's going to come off the board. And it is a false start penalty on Memphis. Stackins never came set as he was pointing with his right arm as the snap was coming.
So I'll back him up just a little bit here, but 1st and 15, the penalty's not a big deal. We've heard coaches in this league talk about, I'll take a delay a game. 50-yard indoor game, 5 yards, not going to kill me.
And with how explosive this offense has been tonight, you got to think their confidence is through the roof. And you think no matter where you put them on the field, they're going to score at some point. So back it up, 1st and 15 from the Memphis 23-yard line.
See a little bit more McCary and Johnson now with Gray out for a little while.
Johnson lined up to the right. Malone in motion vertically to the left. And Forrest fumbled the snap. Eventually comes away with it. Still has it, and he is dragged down from behind by John Brown II. I believe that's the first sack of the night for the Monroe defense.
No frustrating for Forrest that time. Did the smart thing, just ate the sack. You try to make too much out of it, you're going to either fumble it again, you're going to throw it away, you're going to throw a pick. Sometimes you just got to take it.
At a point of emphasis for the Hound Dogs this week, after they nearly gave away that lead last week, those self-inflicted mistakes with a 3-possession lead. So 2nd and long coming up. Loss of 4 on the sack. Malone motions across the formation. Forrest finds Malone. And the lateral to Stackins. Stays on his feet. Big Michael Stackins. He can't be taken down until he is at the 1-yard line. What a play call that time by Dustin Bowman.
That was a preseason play they practiced before the year started with Carmonte Hamilton. Now Stackins in on it, and a lot of shoving going on behind the play, and the flags are flying all over the place. You see Johnson down there, Stackins for Memphis.
And there is a Monroe player injured inside the 5-yard line as Stackins is walking away from the pile, getting the Memphis crowd fired up. See if we can get a look at who is injured there for Monroe. But that was choreographed beautifully. Malone in motion at the snap, made the catch, and immediately found the big fella Stackins, who is a menace in the open field.
I saw him run that at their practice facility at Greenfield Arena 3 weeks before the season with Hamilton. They just substituted Stackins in there to take the pitch. Regardless, if you're a defensive back, whether it's Stackins or Hamilton, you don't want to see them with a head of steam.
That is a terrified sight in the open field. So we'll see what the flag is. The Monroe player who was hurt didn't get a good look at who that was just yet. They got up off the field.
Going to be Trey Hunter.
Trey Hunter is exactly who it was. So he got up, and now there's discussion amongst the referees with the extracurriculars after the play.
My gut says we'll just see some offsetting
Offset
penalties.
penalties, yeah.
There's a few shoves there, but it's going to go both sides. Johnson in there involved in it.
Obviously, if you're Memphis, 3-possession lead, balled out inside the 5-yard line, you want to keep your head and avoid the self-inflicted mistakes with this big lead. And it will be offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties. That'll be Hound Dog football inside the Monroe 5 with a chance to stretch out this 22-point edge even more.
We'll see how they want to play this. Again, they're at the 5, so if they want to run it with, say, a Tony Bell or a Briggs, they could try that. They've talked about trying to get Bell some touches, get their running backs some touchdowns. They've seen the receivers do it, and they like to get some of their backs in on the action.
Bell, a 2-time All-American linebacker at UT Martin, about 2 hours north of here. Yet to score a rushing touchdown this season, but that has been a point of emphasis for this staff and their game plans the last couple weeks. Get that going. Malone to the left, Johnson to the right. And Johnson on the jet sweep, going for the end zone, and he's piled on at about the 2-yard line. The Whitehaven High School product, Marqueria Johnson, coming up just shy of the end zone.
I think Trey Hollins out of Grambling State made that initial hit. Popped him over by a wall. He's a CFL defensive back. Great story. He was retired. He's been in retirement for 8 years, but down in Monroe, they got him to come out of retirement. He's done a really nice job. He's got a sack so far on the season.
2nd and goal. Bell lined up behind Forrest. Hand off to Bell, who's going to drive his way into the end zone. And Tony Bell is on the board for the first time this year. And the Hound Dogs make it a 28-point lead with the extra point still to come.
It's going to stretch it. 28 points. 4-possession lead now. Now time's going to start to be a factor. Look, we've talked about 2 possessions, not a big deal in the indoor game. 4 possessions is 4 possessions, whatever game you're playing. Got a really nice push and a little bit of help up there by McCarry Johnson on that last block.
Cormonte Hamilton playing essentially the right tackle spot with the initial surge, and at Johnson with support to clear the pathway for Tony Bell for his first touchdown in a Hound Dogs uniform. Forrest on the 2-point try is going to be swallowed up. And credit Lloyd that time, who's been an offensive player most of the night, with the takedown of Forrest. And then Forrest runs into Lloyd. And now a little bit of talk after the play. Lloyd was jawed towards the Hound Dogs bench, which is an interesting move down 28, but obviously some frustration on his part. And then Forrest, I think, took a little bit of exception to that. And ran into him on the way back, and then McIntosh had something to say to Forrest afterwards.
Well, McIntosh chased him all the way down there and then stayed right next to head coach Robert Redmond there for a second before they finally got him separated. Now Memphis going to call a timeout, try to get things settled down here. We take another look at that sack as he slammed him to the ground. Clean sack, nothing wrong with it. But obviously some frustrations. Frederick Lloyd got the sack.
Had a lot to say to the Memphis bench.
No, headbutt. There it was. It was Sky, gave him a little headbutt. Got to call it both ways, and he gave Frederick Lloyd a little bit of a headbutt there. One to put in the notepad.
Referees discussing that. So the 2-point conversion, no good. 48-20 Memphis with 3:09 to play in the third quarter.
So Bell gets into the end zone for the first time this year, gets himself a touchdown to try to get those running backs going. Look, you got to adjust to what the defenses are doing. You're throwing the weapons in Gray and Malone up there. The D-backs are playing back. They've got to worry about Stackins, got to worry about Cormonte Hamilton. Eventually it's going to open up the run game a little bit. Meanwhile, Terry Bowden's club in a big hole here, down 28 points. Again, we've seen rallies, and you can rally quickly. But they have got to take advantage of the red zone tonight, and that's one place tonight they have not been able to do it. Memphis has had their quarterback scrambling tonight, Timmy McClain, to the left and the right. McClain's done a nice job to throw the ball away at times, but still, you're just not going to win that battle of numbers.
McClain has mentioned 2 interceptions on the year before tonight, 2 in this game alone. Has just been flustered really from the word go. His Memphis defensive line that has to be considered amongst the best in the league, if not the very best in the Arena League. Making life very difficult for him once again tonight. So after the timeout, let everyone's cooler heads prevail for a moment. 48-20 Memphis. And Monroe with a lot of work to do and not that much time to do it.
28-point lead, but Memphis, in the way the standings are set, point differentials makes a difference. You got to keep scoring.
Fox, the throw off. And breaking a couple tackles that time. Into the open field is Turpin. Turpin going for the end zone. I think he's going to come up a little bit short at the 2-yard line. So Jatarius Turpin, who's been bottled up in the return game most of the evening, finally breaks one. And that's the answer you're looking for if you're Monroe.
Did a nice job on the cutback to his left, found the seam before he's finally forced into the wall and out of bounds. And
it was Fox.
Little fan participation there. Turpin had a few words for the fans. You can get right up on it in the arena game.
So first and goal from the 2, and I believe the Greenheads are going to go to this tush-push formation once again. The snap was fumbled. Also might have been a false start before that. We'll see who has the ball. The Hound Dogs are signaling it's their football. Haven't seen any official call yet. Also believe there was some sort of either false start or illegal motion.
And Buckhalter came up with the ball.
So we'll stay Greenhead football, but might get knocked back 5 yards. And actually, it's going to be offsides on Memphis. So a little jumpy, anticipating the surge of some kind, and they'll give Monroe an extra yard, and you wonder if the Greenheads go right back to the same formation.
And Buckhalter did a nice job just to fall on it once it got loose. Big 5'10", 295-pounder out of Hattiesburg. Played at Arkansas, Monticello, Kansas Wesleyan just last season in 25, where he played 11 games, had 27 tackles, but he's the center here for Monroe.
An alum of Presbyterian Christian School in Hattiesburg, also spent some time at Jones College at the JUCO level in Mississippi. And it's Herard under center. Once again, Monroe already with the touchdown out of this formation tonight. Here comes the counter to it, but swallowed up for a loss of a yard that time was Smith. And you've seen that once you get a defense worried about the push in the middle, you could run a counter off it, but the Hound Dogs were ready for it that time.
Tried a little mini reverse there, Matt, and they were waiting for it with Fox.
Fox, who saved the touchdown on the kick return, saves another touchdown as he was waiting for Smith coming around the corner. So second and goal from the 2. At the moment, the Greenheads' red zone woes on offense tonight continue.
Well, red zone on offense, you got to avoid negative yardage. If you get to the line of scrimmage, that's fine. You'll take that, but you got to avoid the negative yardage.
Memphis with 4th, the line of scrimmage. McLean, fade ball, end zone, broken up by Ewing, who's made a huge impact for this Hound Dogs defensive backfield tonight. 3rd down on the way.
Ewing again on the active roster for the first time this season out of Craigbont.
Ewing, a Memphis native, has indoor football experience. He played with the Tucson Sugar Skulls and the Columbus Lions. Also played some college ball at Coahoma Community College, a JUCO in Mississippi. So 3rd down, McLean. Take the snap out of the gun. Memphis again, bucking up the line of scrimmage. It's be Smith coming in vertical motion on the right side. McLean under duress right away, back of the end zone, and it is dropped. Smith had a hand on it and probably could have slid along the padding, and it would have been a catch as long as he got the foot down, but he could not handle it. 4th down on the way.
Slid on out, but you mentioned he dropped it. He had the foot in, and once you have the foot in, you can slide across that padding if you have control.
So Turpin got Monroe down to the 2-yard line on the kick return. They have not been able to get any further. 4th and goal from the 2. Could be Guerra coming in vertical motion from the left side. McClay calling out the commands. Here's the snap. Willis in his face right away. Back in the end zone. Incomplete. McClay with 2 Hound Dogs in his face. Willis and Hassler. And the Hound Dogs shut the door in the red zone once again. Memphis football at their own 2-yard line.
Initial push again by Beyonce Kimbrough out of Memphis. Then Hassler takes over, gets the hit. Just no chance. Just not getting enough. He's just not getting the protection he needs back there tonight.
Jeff, that feels like if Monroe was going to get back into this game, they were going to need a score on that drive.
Oh, could potentially have been their last best chance in this ball game, down by 28. 4-possession lead now. You're about to get to the last 15 minutes.
So Taylor, the quarterback, with Briggs in the backfield, but not before the end of the 3rd quarter. 45 minutes in the books here in Memphis. 48 points on the board for the Hound Dogs. They take a 28-point lead to the final frame over the Greenheads. Jeff Brightwell will have the call of the 4th quarter in just a moment. You're watching the Arena League.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
The neighbors just stopped by. Can you throw these on the grill?
Garage beef? Huh. 5 more minutes.
All beef hot dogs. Filled with beer.
Honey, where are the gosh dang dogs?
5 more minutes.
Garage Beef from Garage Beer.
What'd you do to these dogs?
Almost done.
Come on, man. Let's get it.
Welcome back inside the Memphis Sports and Event Center at Liberty Park here in Memphis. Is a little over 1,100 show up tonight to watch the second home game after Memphis drew right around 1,500 for game number 1, and they're putting on a show for the Hound Dog fans for the second straight home game as Memphis 15 minutes away from improving to 3-1 and then watching Arkansas and Ozarks tomorrow night to see if they'll have sole possession of first place. I'm Jeff Bryant alongside Matt Infield, and got to say, it's been the most complete game we have seen now by the Hound Dogs.
3 turnovers forced, 2 defensive touchdowns. Donald Gray dominating. Sky Forrest, for the most part, pretty clean with his decision making. And now they're starting to try to get the run game going a little bit. It's something they've wanted to do all season. Up 28 in the fourth quarter. Perfect time to try to do it.
DJ Briggs on the carry, had a couple of carries, 5 yards a week ago, 3 catches, 46 yards. Averaged a little over 15 yards a catch last week out of the backfield up at Ozarks.
And we saw last week, they got their quarterback run game going. They haven't been able to get their traditional run game going yet this season. But Bell scored a touchdown in the third quarter, the first of the year for him. So they have good enough receivers where you're going to have to honor that at some point. There's one of them.
At the 25, cuts back to his left. He'll be forced down from behind. He's across midfield into Greenhead territory.
The Hound Dogs scored 50 in their inaugural home game week 2, threatening to put up a new season high in points with 48 and still a lot of the fourth quarter left.
Johnson on the top of your screen below on the bottom half. He goes in vertical motion. They'll hand off to Johnson. Got him around the corner a little bit. He'll maybe eke out a couple of yards, get forward progress to the 20, and we'll see where they spot it after he fell forward. They're going to give it to him inside the 20, about the 18, 19-yard line. Still going to bring up about a 2nd and 6 here.
That was McIntosh who had a shot to bring him down for minimal yardage, but Rakiri Johnson refusing to go down.
Well, it looks like Robert Redmond going to play the possession game up by 28, trying to milk the clock. Forrest over the middle and gets Briggs, and he's tackled forward. He'll get to the 11.
Like that play design there. It was kind of like a leak-out screenplay. There's a flag down as well. I think it's going to be on Monroe. Came in right as Briggs was making the catch.
Now here's where Memphis is going to try a little bit of possession, try to have some clock management up by 28, 12:40 remaining. We'll see what this call ends up being.
I think it's going to be holding up top on Johnson, defensive holding. He's getting pressed off the line of scrimmage. I can't tell who the defensive back is here, but you see he gets a whole lot of Rakiri Johnson's jersey.
Yeah, drug him down. His shoulder pad came out from under the jersey. So
he turned around right away and said, "You see that?"
So Memphis gets to advance it all the way just inside the 9-yard line, just shy of the 8. It's about the 8.5-yard line. So they'll have 1st and goal. They'll have Malone off to the left. Looks like they'll keep Johnson in. He'll go high here eventually. And here's where they'll like to use at times Stackins and Hamilton, as they will flank Williams, the center.
The referee stopped the game here. Let's see for what.
You know, Johnson and Hunter are over there again. They may just be talking about Hunter and Johnson. They may be jawing a little bit. So it's Briggs to the right of Forrest. Forrest. Flush to his left. He'll throw it away. He felt the pressure coming in from behind as a smart thing. He got rid of it, getting a little bit of heat there from Brown.
And Forrest slow to get up.
He's played every snap tonight on offense. They have Kevin Taylor, who is 5 for 8, 39 yards, a TD, and an interception. He's a little banged up, but as far as I know, is available for tonight's game if needed.
And Sky Forrest back to his seat, which is great. Back to his feet, excuse me, which is great to see. Like you said, felt the pressure, great awareness. John Brown, for the second, was coming from behind, ditched the ball before something really bad happened. He just took a big hit while he did it.
And of course, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe on the preseason depth chart, they had Adrian Fox listed as an emergency QB at third. This situation, if you're 28 and they want to get Forrest out, may give Fox potentially, I guess. They could give him some snaps. They've got options up 28.
You know what they should probably do on this play, Jeff? Just give Forrest a little playoff, hand the ball off to Briggs in the backfield. How about it?
Just say, fine stacking. It's your biggest target out there. But yeah, Briggs, get him some carries. Over the middle, touchdown! And it's Malone across the middle. And then Forrest took a big hit behind a play as the ball gets launched into the stands. But the Hound Dogs will expand it to 54-20.
If that wasn't a late hit on Forrest, it was very close. I don't know if we'll get a look at. That's borderline for sure, but cool as a fan back there as he found Malone for his second touchdown tonight. Jeff, at this point, I think if you're Memphis up by 30+ now in the fourth quarter, that should probably be the last time Sky Forrest sees the field tonight, even though he's going to stay in for this 2-point try.
Has all day. Like a statue back there. Finds the big guy. Did he fall forward enough? Yes! The 2-point conversion will count as it's Corbante Hamilton hanging on, and that big tree just yelled timber across the goal line.
The tight ends haven't been on the board as far as touchdowns tonight, but Hamilton with his second 2-point conversion of the evening. Stackins with one as well. Do think they're going to take a look at it on replay.
He chopped it there. Well, by the time he made contact with the ground, look at that ball got across the plane.
Replay official up here confirms Hamilton did break the plane before he was down.
Cutting down one of those big oak trees here in the Mid-South. It falls slow, but it's coming down. Did a nice job. He's an athletic guy for his size.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Corbante Hamilton, a guy that was recruited by Ohio State and spent his first year of college ball with the Buckeyes. Obviously, it goes without saying, if you're with the Ohio State football program, you were a special level of athlete. Came back home after his freshman season, played defensive line for the University of Memphis Tigers for 4 years, but star tight end in high school and gets to go back to his roots in a way. Played tight end for the Hound Dogs and played it very well.
Guerra will receive for Monroe as Memphis has blown this game wide open now. 36-point lead at 56-20.
56 points, the most they've scored in a game this year. That's a live ball.
Got to make some forward progress and get out of the zone. Guerra does, and he makes a lot out of what was going to be nothing. Cross midfield, keeps his feet going forward all the way to the Hound Dog 9-yard line. I mean, that was close if he doesn't pick it up, being a live ball, potential Hound Dog ball, potential safety if he goes to the back of the end zone, gets it right at the 1, takes a big hit at the 1-yard line. Whoop, got around Willis, skirts out to the left, stumbles forward.
And Ewing was down on the turf for a moment, but he got up. I think he was just more frustrated he didn't make that tackle of Guerra along the sideline.
Guerra lines up to the right side with Smith. High side is going to be Britt. McLean took a look at Britt initially, flushed out, tried to thread the needle and get it to Britt, just wasn't there, and that ball nearly picked off by Lee.
Ladarius Lee Almost. With another multi-interception game. McClain, you look at it two ways, right? He's been under duress the entire night. But I think it's also fair to say the decision-making hasn't been as good as it's been the first 3 weeks for him. Those two things obviously go hand in hand, but it has not been a night that Timmy McClain will remember fondly.
Brent Smith to the right. There goes Guerra in motion. He'll take the snap and lean forward to the 5-yard line.
McClain's looking back like that wasn't supposed to happen, or the timing on that play looked a little bit funky. Guerra, obviously, like we talked about, it's his first week with the team, so.
Snap could have come out a little early, and it's like, hey, I'll just take this.
Oh, Guerra, for this being his first week with the team, made a big impact, and Monroe's going to get their season back on track if they're going to fall to 1-3 tonight. He's going to be a centerpiece of it.
Guerra in vertical motion, stops at the 3, and pretty obvious McClain thought he was going to go to the back of the end zone. That was a timing pattern to the back, and Guerra stopped at about the 2 and took a look back.
Whether Guerra stopped at the 2 at the goal line or 2 yards into the end zone, he was wide open. That should have been a touchdown, but again, this Memphis defensive front has just disrupted the timing on basically everything Monroe has tried to do tonight.
Got to find a way to put it in here if you're Monroe. Again, obviously the game in hand, but standings, and there's some movement, and Memphis made a little contact, it looked like, off the left side. Friesen, I think, is the one that put his hand on it. It'll be encroachment on Memphis. But, man, it's like, look, let's talk about it. We're in the middle of the World Cup. You go to goal differential. It's a point differential for potential tiebreakers if you split your season series. So you're not trying to run it up. You might have to have that point differential late in a season. Meanwhile, Monroe, if they work their way back as they look on, Monroe wants to keep the score as relatively close as they can if there gets to be a tiebreaker situation after game number 8.
Especially an 8-game season, very small sample size. Point differential has a chance to be huge as there's another flag, and I wonder if this one is on Monroe.
Friesen saying false start.
So yeah, there's no such thing. 8-game season, you got to score as many points as you can and keep your opponent from scoring as much as possible, because the point differential could quite literally be the difference between playing for a championship or not.
Well, in the South, Memphis is the only one on the positive side at a +1 coming in tonight. Arkansas -22, Monroe -6 coming in tonight, and Ozarks was -26.
So it's an interesting balance. No matter what happens on this play, Memphis gets the ball back under 8 minutes to play. Do they go and try and score more points? Do they just drain out the clock? This has turned to a sloppy sequence down here on 4th down.
Well, if Memphis gets the ball back and there's well over 7 minutes, it's going to be hard not to score, even if you try to just march it down the field.
Monroe is going to be kicking themselves with their lack of execution for the most part, especially inside the 5-yard line tonight. Chance after chance after chance to punch it in, and scored a couple times, but they have left a lot of points on the board.
Was it 3 out of 4 they failed to convert on in a 1st and goal situation in the first half?
But you get credit to the Hound Dogs' red zone defense, which has been phenomenal all season, but Monroe offense, which has been humming, also has not done their job.
Smith, vertical motion, that snap high. Throws to the back of the end zone and air mails it out of the back. And again, I couldn't count. Maybe on one hand the times McClain's had a chance to set in the indoor pocket for what that's worth tonight, to sit back there and really take a look at his receivers.
And even when he's rolling to his left, which is his strong side, remember, this is a field that is not as wide as an 11-on-11 football field. You don't have that much room to operate. You could buy some time, but the Memphis defense has had all the answers to what he's trying to do when he does roll out anyways, and he has done nothing with his legs tonight either.
Now, Memphis defense, 3rd in the league, just 113 points given up coming into tonight, and 20 spot on the board. It's pretty impressive in the indoor game.
Sky Forrest is back out there. I'm a little bit surprised by it, but again, we do know KT Taylor is banged up. Probably don't want to expose him. And play on Friday, at least you do get an extra night off before your next game next Saturday.
Quick outlet on the right side. Not going to get much out of this, so they determined that he went backwards, and they are going to give a negative yard. They do say he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and it looks like they may have, not sure if that's Willis or they got Gray back in on that far side. It's
that is Kyle Gray.
Yep. So we saw Gray go to the locker room, but he's back out.
I think that's probably, given the way Sky Forest has been hit the last couple drives, quick throws, don't expose him any more than you have to is probably the way to go.
Thought about Gray. Now just going to throw it over the top. He had Malone in the middle and then off to the right side. I believe he was looking for DJ Briggs. He came out of the backfield.
You know what matters? It wasn't an interception because the clock's still running. And really, turning the ball over is the only way. I mean, I don't think Monroe is coming back from down 36 with under 6 minutes left regardless. But the only way you even make it a thought is if you turn the ball over.
Right. Getting down to close to 5.5 minutes remaining in this ball game, and a 5-possession lead right now for the Hound Dogs. Forrest overthrew. He's way ahead of Malone that time, coming from his left.
And they will surrender, which is probably the right.
Yeah, absolutely. Sooner this, make him go long field. They'll bring it back to the 10-yard line, and you're still about 3 minutes away from the 2-minute warning. So tomorrow night, Hound Dogs are going to have fun doing some scoreboard watching. At least for 24 hours, they'll have sole possession, no tiebreaker lead in the South Division at 3-1. Will Arkansas, who's got to go to Ozarks, be able to keep pace? Because that's Memphis' opponent over in Hot Springs next week, or will Ozarks come up and get back to within a game?
Ozarks down big last week to Memphis, almost came back and won the game. So, and those two teams are pretty close in point differential going into tomorrow night. Arkansas minus 22 on the season, Ozarks minus 26. So it's not just who wins, it's like we talked about, how much do they win by?
So it'll be Smith to the right. It'll be McLean under center. They'll put Britt in vertical motion, and he may have crossed, or is going to be motion. Thought he may have crossed the plane before the snap got away. Regardless, it's going to go against Monroe.
CJ Buckhalter, the center, has had a bit of a rough night. Not sure you could blame him with all the pressure and the waves that the Memphis defensive front has been throwing at Monroe.
Well, they've been able to get around Lloyd tonight. McNeil at times. So they will put Guerra in the slot to the left. Smith on the right side. Looks like it'll be Britt, the vertical man, and it is.
Just immediate pressure again.
He's going to be taken down in the backfield. The big sack inside the 5. There go the flags. Now there's a lot of talking. It was Kimbrough that got through. And now flags continuing to fly.
McLean threw, I don't know if it was a punch, but it was probably some sort of open hand slap after he got up. I don't know if someone threw something at him first. McLean's still hot. They need to get him away from this pile. This is foolishness. I mean, it's a 36-point game with 4 minutes to play. The result has been decided for a while now.
Give credit to the officials. They got right in the middle of it and got this thing separated before it got ugly.
The Hound Dogs are using it as a rallying cry for the fans still here.
We'll see. Here comes Kimbo through the middle.
Hassler got immediate pressure off the edge. I think it's that little yank there.
Yeah, drug him a little bit. Then the push. So, I mean, I understand McLean upset he got drug a little bit, and then Kimbrough just pushed him right in the face, and that's what set all of this off.
Yeah, Kimbrough sacked him, and it would have been fine, except he got a little yank of the nameplate. McLean took exception, and then it was on from there.
Well,
luckily, like you said, though, it wasn't any worse than that.
Anytime they get the notepad out, it's going to be a little bit of a laundry list of guys they saw make contact. Did anyone come off of the bench? But you don't want anybody to come off the bench. I'm not sure what the specific rule is, but you don't want to take a chance on a suspension next week. If you're Memphis or Monroe in this situation, there's Terry Bowden. He's He's seen about it all.
Yes.
So nothing is shocking him at this point.
It's like we talked about, 8-game seasons. If you're Memphis, you're playing great ball right now. You're going to move to 3-1. Losing anyone important for a suspension next week would be really detrimental. For Monroe, you're going to fall to 1-3 tonight. You got to get your season on track and in a hurry. So losing McLean or anyone else important on their offense would be disastrous for them.
And to talk about the schedule, we talk about an 8-game schedule. It's a 9-week season. All the teams play next week. 4th of July weekend, there are no games in the Arena League. Then you have the 3-game sprint to the end. Well, they are taking a lot of notes down there. I'm doubt before this game's over we're going to know all the details. We'll see if they give maybe offsetting penalties, but I'm sure a lot of notes taken. Here we go. There's your one on Kimbrough. That's probably the
McLean.
pushback by McLean. There's an ejection, too.
I'm guessing they both got ejected.
We'll see when they walk off. It'll be easy to see who comes down the tunnel for the Hound Dogs. We'll see.
McLean's walking off the field right now, so he's definitely been ejected. I haven't seen Kimbrough yet. Not to say he has been ejected, but
Kimbrough had the most obvious, at least the hand of the face mask, but that was after the initial push by McLean. But some extracurricular, and again, tip of the cap to the officials who we got to talk to for a while before the game to immediately run in between the Greenheads and the Hound Dogs and not let that escalate any more than it did.
Trying to find out officially if an ejection with 4 minutes left in this game equals a suspension for next week. Because especially for Monroe, if Timmy McLean is out for them when they go to Ozarks next week, that's big trouble for them. And Kimbrough, to be fair, if he's ejected, that would be a blow for the Memphis defense, although they could probably survive
back.
And survive that a little bit better, yes.
All right, finally ready to go, and it's Herard. He's sacked for the safety. Hassler got in there immediately. 2 points for the Dogs.
That'll help the point differential. Feel bad for Herard there. I mean, just an impossible situation where you can't go into push or brotherly shove, anything like that. And Hassler, who's played with his hair on fire all night, came in with bad intentions there.
The only saving grace for Herard is they added the inflatable pad behind the end zone.
Instead of the hardwood from week 2. Kimbrough, by the way, was on the field for that play, so it was only McLean who was ejected.
Hassler, who had a couple of interceptions early in the season, the Collierville native who played at Arkansas State, had 8 sacks over 44 games, 13 tackles for losses, 104 tackles. We're at the big 2-pointer, and Memphis is going to get the ball back here with 3:40 remaining.
Jeff, it can't be overstated enough. Hassler was a good college football player, 8 months ago?
Yeah.
6 months ago? Having that guy on this team is such a luxury for the Memphis defense.
Well, the luxury, too, in what we talk about being the biggest market, they get University of Memphis, Arkansas State, you got Ole Miss, you got all the Mississippi State, all the Division I schools within just a couple of hours for them to glean from, plus Northwest Mississippi, East Mississippi, Mississippi Valley. You got not 1AA, it's FCS now, but you've got those schools plus the high school players that have still been hanging around. What do you got on that call, Matt?
I think it should be, there's nothing official on that at the moment, so to be determined. If it is a storyline to keep an eye on throughout the week for Monroe. McLean ejected, Kimbrough was not, so.
So McLean done for the evening.
And by the way, a couple of Division II schools to throw into that mix as well. Sky Forest, a product of Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee.
Wide turn, trying to cut back, is going to run out of room. Nice job, and I believe that was Jalen Keene that came back to make that eventual tackle. We'll check that. No, that was Lloyd that came back, finish it off. So now Memphis is going to have it. 3:23. They'll have the 2-minute warning in there. Game in hand, obviously, at 38-point lead, and not going to try to run it up. But when you only have 35 yards to go. Sometimes it's
I do think it is probably pertinent for them at this point, given there's clearly some bad blood between these two teams tonight. Try to score maybe, but protect yourselves. Don't leave yourself vulnerable to any big unnecessary hits that could knock you out.
I'm going to go a few last possession. Just give it to Bell and Briggs and get things moving. They got Bell back there at the running back position right now. Malone or check that. Johnson to the near side and Gray up top. They'll turn, hand off up the middle. They'll just get the clock going. They'll get forward yardage that time. And it was Bell on the carry that got a touchdown earlier tonight.
Well, Bell last week had 9 carries, 38 yards, which is a solid little over 4 yards per rush. Nice and efficient. You know he wanted that touchdown earlier in the game to finally get on the board this season. The coaching staff's talked about it. We haven't heard him openly say it, but to finally check that box had to be nice for him.
It's getting Gray up top. Bell will stay in the backfield. And Johnson to the low side. Johnson takes it right side. Lost his balance right around the 20. Gets up, but he's going to be stopped there. Forward progress. So that'll bring up third and about 5, maybe just a hair over 5 yards. But that'll also get us to the 2-minute warning as the clock winds down to 2. And Memphis going to go to 3-1 on the season. And we'll have the final 2 minutes of this game when we come back to the Memphis Sports and Event Center. Memphis with a commanding lead. Back for the final 2 as you're watching the Arena League. Final 2 minutes here at the Memphis Sports and Event Center as the fans had a fun time tonight watching their Hound Dogs, now leading at 58-20. Forrest going to go toward that right sideline, underthrown, may have been a little contact, and it looks like it was. Flag will come up, and they're going to flag Trey Hunter.
I think he hit Gray in the head as he was kind of stumbling to the ground trying to make a play on the ball.
All right, Matt, so let's talk about the situation. Memphis will be 3-1. Arkansas 2-1. They will play Ozarks tomorrow, but on tiebreaker, on point differential, at this point, Arkansas would have had to win by 62 to overtake them on the differential. That's what we talk about. They're minus 22. Memphis now a plus 39 after tonight, at least as it stands right now.
Chance to potentially add more on this drive, especially with the personal foul penalty. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Next week, you go to Hot Springs, you play the Diamond, and then you've got the 4th of July bye week, and then the Hound Dogs come out of that bye week, and they host Arkansas here. Feels like that could determine who comes out of the South Division and plays for a championship.
Hot Springs and Memphis, so Arkansas and Memphis, 2 of the closest teams in the league. That could end up being a pretty good rivalry in the Arena League. And they're a legacy team. They've been around for a couple of seasons.
For what we see tonight, Jeff, I think Memphis and Monroe might have a pretty nice rivalry brewing as well. I think we could circle July 18th in Monroe, basically exactly 1 month from now on the calendar, because tensions have flared tonight.
Forrest to the back, tripped up, another pass interference. They are looking for Johnson and just wrapped him up at the goal line. And Trey Hunter frustrated, but he basically tackled him before he could get to the ball. Like, not a bad penalty. He was going to score the touchdown if he didn't.
Yeah, Hunter came up, couldn't tell if he was flexing or what. Flexing after a pass interference would be interesting, but we just talked about the point differential. Well, now Memphis gets the ball deep in Monroe territory, and now you start to think, well, we probably can add another 6 to 8 points here.
See where the final spot of this ball is going to be at. Let's take a look. Over the middle, and there was the grab right at the goal line. So at this point, you're going to be able to get it about 4 yards out. They try to punch it in with Briggs back there.
Briggs, of course, had the kick return touchdown called back, so it'll be nice to get him on the board tonight.
But you got a quarterback that's 225.
Yeah, I'm protecting that asset if
Yeah.
I'm Robert Redmond, though, especially he's taking some big hits tonight.
Briggs up under, has a seam. He'll be stopped right. No, he's in. Touchdown. Looked like McIntosh had him stopped, but the ball crossed the plane. They give the touchdown signal.
And Marquise Johnson is down way away from the play. I think he got laid out, and now Sky Forrest just laid out a Monroe defensive back in the end zone, which is about the worst thing that could happen for the Hound Dogs in what's been an otherwise pretty incredible night for them. I think Johnson got laid out on the jet sweep, the fake jet sweep, and now we'll have to sort through this melee in the back of the end zone.
Well, regardless, if you're Robert Redmond, you want one of your guys to go grab Forrest and just drag him to the bench and get him off the field and away from anything. Second time we've seen these teams come together in the last 10 minutes.
Concerned now with Johnson, who is being helped off the field.
Well, Matt, I think you had it pegged. Going to be an interesting matchup down in Monroe.
There are 4 flags on the field right now. Johnson up to his feet, walking gingerly. Now with some assistance, and that's definitely not a good sign if you're Memphis. It could be even worse here if Sky Forrest gets ejected for that shove in the back of the end zone, which feels potentially likely. Now the referees try to get this under control.
Now you got Dustin Bowman, your OC, with a few words there. He got fired up. He's trying to protect his guys. Terry Bowden getting his guys back to the bench.
Trey Hunter that Forrest came up and laid out.
Well, in Memphis situation too, with a banged up KT Taylor, last thing you want them is reviewing this, Sky Forrest being suspended for a game. Then you're either going with Taylor, potentially Fox next week, depending on who's healthy if you're Memphis.
Well, regardless of the health of KT Taylor, you hope he's healthy if you're Memphis. I mean, Sky Forrest is playing awesome football right now. Now, Terry Bowden down on the field in the middle of everything as well. The Memphis players have all gone to their bench area. The Monroe players still hanging out around the 5-yard line. And again, just overshadowing really at this point what's been a pretty impeccable performance by the Hound Dogs, especially in the last 3 quarters.
I will not be surprised if you see an ejection on Forrest for running up and shoving, because we saw it on McLean when the benches cleared earlier. You know, you're playing a 16 games, 17 game schedule in the NFL, a game suspension. It stinks, but it's not the end of the world.
More margin for
in
error.
This league, it's huge. That's over 10% of the season. If there's an ejection, and if the league determines, I'm sure the film will be sent to the league officials, and they'll make the determination. Again, nothing official in any kind of suspensions, but I'm sure the league's going to take a look at this. They'll probably take a look at the hit, too, that sent Johnson down as well on that play.
I don't think we've got a good look at that. But he was hurting coming off the field, so hopefully he's okay. But it's like we talked about. When you get involved in these melees late in the game, when the outcome has not been in doubt for an hour, basically, I mean, only bad things can happen. So I understand Sky Forest wanted to stand up for his teammate that just got laid out. Got to have a little more composure in that situation.
Well, too, in the indoor game, you're limited rosters. The Arena League plays of 16. It's not as if you've got a 54-man roster and you can bring in second teamers and let them play things out. Your starters have to play the entire ballgame.
So this is the Forest shove on Trey Hunter. I mean, that's, you got to call it how it is. That feels like a pretty cut and dry ejection.
Well, we're going to have a look there to see who got Johnson that really started the whole thing.
And I think it was Hunter, and that's why Forrest took exception.
Okay, here we go. So Johnson
gets cut down at the knees.
Yeah. So he cut him, then went back to the end zone, and that's when Forrest went after him. So 1:03 remaining here. The Hound Dogs are going to win. They're going to stay in first place, but really their concern is going to be over the next 24 hours or so once the league probably takes a look at all the film.
Well, two things, Jeff.
Yeah.
Whether Forrest gets ejected or not. Johnson, I didn't like that hit.
Yeah.
Below the legs that low or below the knees. What's his status moving forward? Is he going to be available next week when they travel to Arkansas?
Well, officials still talking about it. They've got the head coaches in Coach Bowden, Terry Bowden, and Robert Redmond waiting just on the perimeter before they get the official word from the referees. But still, the 4 flags still sitting out there. Now, one is back where Hunter hit Johnson. The other 3 up at the goal line. That's where Forrest went in and went after Hunter. And what did we talk about in this game? Coming in the game, 2 of the more disciplined teams in the league.
Yeah, and the Hound Dogs put up 60-plus points tonight despite probably having more flags thrown on them than they would like. They've been so good outside of that. It hasn't really mattered. Monroe, the most disciplined team in the league in terms of fewest penalties and penalty yards coming into the game, but tempers have gotten the best of them at multiple points tonight, and the Hound Dogs for that matter as well late in this game.
You know it's serious when you got 2 notepads out.
That was a long conversation. They want to get it right, but let's see what they say.
Okay, there's the hit
Low
below
hit.
the knee.
Yep. Touchdown's good.
I think you said offsetting, so there's your probably your initial push on Forrest. I'm not sure they called a second one there.
Oh, and no ejection. We didn't see anyone thrown out of the game, so if that's the case for the moment, the Hound Dogs have caught a very lucky break. That's not to say that the league doesn't have the ability to go back and look at that shove by Forrest and maybe still issue a suspension if they see fit, but for the moment, Forrest putting his helmet on, coming back on the field. And now he's coming off, so I wonder if he was
At this point,
ejected.
I'd let anybody play quarterback with Forrest right now. So it looks like we're getting closer to finishing this game off with 1:03 remaining, waiting for the extra point. Again, stands at 64-20 on the Forrest to Malone touchdown.
I think we are going to try to confirm. I believe this is Fox, who we talked about as the emergency quarterback. And it is Adrian Fox going to come into this game and finish it off for the Hound Dogs under center. He was a high school quarterback at Overton High School here in Memphis.
So Fox will be back there. Well, he's going to split out at receiver. They got Malone back there, and next to Malone is going to be Briggs. All right, here we go. Kewan Malone.
You were here during his playing career at Memphis. Did he ever play quarterback? I don't think so.
Not to my recollection. I think I would have remembered that. He was all receiver. Michael Stackins, though, never got a pass.
That's true.
Here, so we'll see.
Never know what you're going to see in the Arena League, but it's usually pretty fun. And I think that now there's a discussion about whether Hunter was ejected. He's pleading his case, but
well, it looks like he's gone.
For that hit below the knees on Johnson.
They got Quad Smith trying to get in the game. So, yep, Hunter's done, boy. Yep, that's the look of a guy that just got thrown out.
We've alluded to it a couple times, but the best thing for both of these teams at this point is for the game to end.
Right.
Without anything else happening. What do you
Malone.
got, Q1?
Malone gets the extra point. Malone. He'll find Fox,
who we thought was going to be the quarterback.
Well, there you go. Malone to Fox for the extra point. 66-20.
And now Arkansas would have to win by almost 70 tomorrow night.
Right.
To tie or approach Memphis on the point differential. Hey, great throw.
So that is some old school, was it Billy White Shoes Johnson, one of the first guys to dance in the old NFL films, just does the knees.
It's been a good vibe inside this building tonight, for sure. The second ever home game for this franchise. The fans have had fun.
Well, for an expansion team that has built their fan base, let's be honest, basically off social media this year.
Yep.
Where James Fisher's the GM, basically doing everything. It's been 2 successful games. They listed as about 1,500 for game 1, 1,100 for tonight. He's got to be pretty elated with what he has done just on social media and word of mouth around Memphis.
50-18 winners over Iowa in week 2 and on track to win by 40 plus tonight as things stand. I mean, Jeff, we were just talking about it off air. You wipe away week 1 against Nebraska, and we think Nebraska is a very good team. Memphis's roster also looks vastly different now than it did then. If you've watched this Hound Dogs team the last 3 weeks, especially their 2 home games, there's a lot of reason to believe this team could do some serious damage at the end of the season.
Outside of the last 3 games, outside of the 4th quarter at the Ozarks, and they found a way to win on the last play, but that's when Ozarks came back. 11 out of the last 12 quarters have been pretty phenomenal for the Hound Dog organization.
On both sides of the ball, too.
So Monroe will have one last chance, and again, it's not going to come back with point differential, but they're also losing. Timmy McClain won't be in the game, so they're probably, I imagine Terry Bowden saying, find a way to get the clock moving, and let's just end this ball game.
I doubt it's a situation where they're going to take these, but that feels like it might be the ideal outcome for everyone involved. Was there a penalty? I guess there was on. Guerra was getting into it with someone on the sidelines during the tackle, and I guess they got Memphis for a flag, so they'll put the ball right near midfield.
So it looks like Herard will be back at quarterback, and Turpin will be the running back. They got Smith on the right side and Brett up high to the left. Hands it off. Cut back that time by Turpin. Nowhere to go as he is brought down by Friesen. Now to get the clock moving. So could potentially be just one more play left in this game with under 30 seconds remaining. To Jaron Friesen out of Booker T. Washington, and a sack master with a league record 21 in the old developmental football league.
See Big Stackins over there already signing autographs before the game's even over.
Well, looked like a big jump that time. Go off to the left side. The encroachment. So, last play of the game here, 1 second remaining. And it looks like they're going to call it. It'll roll off on the penalty. And the Hound Dogs, impressive winner tonight. Again, as they opened it up, had a pretty good lead at the half, Matt, at 36-14, but it was all Hound Dogs in the second half.
14-8 lead after the first quarter. From that point on, the Hound Dogs outscored Monroe 52-12. Dominant last 3 quarters of football. Donald Gray 3 touchdowns, couple of defensive touchdowns, pick sixes by Ladarius Lee and Jelani Willis. Now, of course, the big storyline for them going into next week against a pivotal matchup against Arkansas is Sky Forrest going to be available after the late ejection, and the health of Marqueria Johnson after he was taken out below the knees on that hit.
That is going to wrap it up for us tonight here at the Memphis Sports and Events Center, as Memphis will win it 66-20. The Hound Dogs 3-1 on the season. Monroe drops to 1-3. A phenomenal performance from Sky Force tonight, and Donald Gray, and the defense was huge tonight for Robert Redmond's Hound Dogs. Again, 65-20, the final score. The Hound Dogs are winners. From our broadcast partner, Matt Infield, everyone involved in the production at 85 Creative, I'm Jeff Brightwell. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching the Arena League. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Appreciate it.